Welcome back to the Nashville Superspeedway in Lebanon, Tennessee. We are now ready to go racing. Steve Burns alongside Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip. Let's take a look at the race analysis. 43 cars, 300 miles. Larry, that fuel window, 70 to 75 laps.
If they will be able to go that distance on these tires. Goodyear has brought a hard tire here. A little conservative, no doubt. These cars will be able to run a full fuel stop on the tires on these cars.
Let's take a look at the starting grid on the front row. Kevin Harvick, he is the points leader. He's alongside defending champ Jeff Green. Row 2, Bobby Hamilton, Greg Biffle. Greg Biffle looking for his first win of the year. Ashton Lewis Jr., a graduate of Old Dominion University, and rookie Scott Wimmer.
Todd Bodine outside of row 4 won 2 of the 7 races this season at Rockingham and Las Vegas.
Jay Sauter there, he had his best finish in Texas a couple weeks ago, finished 3rd.
Row 6, Jason Keller.
Jason Keller sits second in the points with 5 top 10 finishes this year.
And in row 7, it's rookie Larry Voigt, the son of AJ, and Kevin Grubb, still looking for his first top 10.
Kenny Wallace having a lot of success in the Busch Series so far this year.
Today is Tony Raines' birthday. Row 9, Randy LaJoie, Bobby Hamilton Sr.
Normally Jimmy Spencer drives this car. Bobby Hamilton will be driving for the James Finch team this week. Frank Kimmel, last year's ARCA champ, 2-time champ, making his first start in the Busch Series, finished second in yesterday's ARCA race.
And David Donahue, he's replacing Chad Chaffin in that 25 car. Chad, a local boy, so got out of the car this week for Donahue.
David Green won a Busch Series race here, 1995. Magic Shoes McLaughlin.
Andy Santerre, this is his 3rd start this year, led 72 laps at Bristol 3 weeks ago.
Thought he was going to win that one.
Mike Skinner replacing Mike Dillon in that 21 car, and Shane Hall in the 63. Barney Houston and Hank Parker Jr. in row 15.
Jimmy Johnson had a career best 4th place finish at Bristol. He's in a backup car, wrecking after his qualifying was complete yesterday.
And Brad Baker there, his dad used to run the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Stedman Marlin, the son of Sterling, grandson of Cuckoo DW.
Oh yes, Cuckoo Marlin. Got Tim Fidewa there. Fidewa just coming off a 2nd place finish a couple weeks ago at Bristol.
Tim Sauter, the younger brother of Jay Sauter, an ASA champion. Shauna Robinson in the 99. Clay Rogers will be driving for Matt Kenson.
And she's in a backup car, blue, and she's had a pretty tough weekend there, Mikey, but maybe she can pull a good finish out. Mikey's her car owner.
That would be Mikey Waltrip.
That's right.
Dan Partis missed the driver's meeting, or was late rather. He'll have to drop to the rear of the field. And we are about set to go racing here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Lights off atop the pace car. 43 drivers. DW, what are they thinking here as they're getting ready to get that green?
They got them locked, they got them cocked, and folks are coming down the line. They're ready to rock.
7,500 cubic yards of concrete. Let's go, guys.
We're going to use up some of it today.
And Eddie George of the Tennessee Titans waves the green flag.
Nice job, Eddie. Got a good handle on that flag. A lot of dust flying up as the car did in the first turn. Oh, we got a couple cars together already. Here we go. Shauna Robinson around. Into the wall.
She backs it into the wall. The 49 of AJ Frank gets into her. Caution flag still not out, however. Shauna's able to refire and get going.
I think that one car is going to end up on the apron down there. They're going to have to throw a caution.
But look here back at the front. Bobby Hamilton Jr., he wants some of Kevin Harvick.
Boy, they got together, too. They just clipped each other coming through the trioval right here.
Kevin Harvick, though he wanted to lead that first lap, gets his 5 points. We do have caution on the speedway.
Caution finally came out there. Look at the back end. Shauna Robinson's car is shortened up.
That's the 2nd one of the week for her. It looks the same way as the first one did. And they get 3 abreast going down into turn 1 here. And like I said, a lot of dust flying up. I think it's just a matter of not enough room for all these cars. Kind of bounce off each other.
3 wide will not work this early in the event here.
Fidewa going by there.
49 of AJ Frank can't avoid her.
Just pretty much puts the finishing touches on that wreck.
We're going to take a short break here from the Nashville Superspeedway. AJ Frank can't get it going. You're watching NASCAR Busch Series Racing on FX. We'll be right back to get this race restarted. And as has been our custom all season, the fans paying tribute to Dale Earnhardt here at the Nashville Superspeedway in Lebanon, Tennessee. Next weekend, the Fox Racing team will be in Talladega. It's the Superspeedway. NASCAR Winston Cup qualifying, 7 p.m. on FX. And then on Saturday, NASCAR Winston Cup practice at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on FX. And then over on Fox, it's the Busch Series race. On Sunday, get up to speed with NASCAR this morning at 10 a.m. John Roberts with that show. And then it's the NASCAR Winston Cup race presented by Subway at 12:30. NASCAR Victory Lane at 9 p.m. We're under caution. We had an incident on lap 1, the 99 car of Shauna Robinson.
Well, you can see him go down in the corner here. Of course, the star of the race are not really up to speed, but it gets real bottlenecked right here at the back of the pack. Shauna kind of sticks her nose in there underneath the 61 to 66 and pays the price. Here comes 49 car and bams into the left front of the car and pretty well does her out, does her in.
Well, meanwhile, coming to the start-finish line, Darrell, look at this Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that red car.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. wants to lead the first lap at the new Nashville Superspeedway, but guess what? Somebody's in his way.
But he was rubbing.
Oh, yeah. He was a bump drafted.
All right, let's check in with Jeff Harmon. What do you got, Jeff?
What's going on is Jeff Green has radioed in, and at the start of the race, his car was missing. The compound things, he also called in and let Harold Hawley know, hey, we got the wrong transmission in here on top of all that. The split between first and second is all wrong. I can't get going on a start like I needed to, and the motor's in, like I say, is missing. They've gone to get the spare carburetor in case it doesn't clear up.
You know what? I used to call in like that, and they'd tell me, well, just, is there anything about that car you like?
I was going to say, that sounds like a lot of problems, Larry.
Yeah, it was a brand new race car here. They tested a little bit at Atlanta with it, but it virtually has not seen a race, and we're going back racing here.
Well, we'll watch him on the restart and see how his transmission works out for him. He just needs to anticipate a little bit better.
Green flag in the air. This is the 4th race that Kevin Harvick has led this year. That number 2 car for Richard Childress.
Really, that's all it is. The restarts are all about anticipation. It's kind of the spotter and the driver and the crew working together, letting him know when that flag's going to come out. Boys, I tell you what, we got a car almost around again down there in turn 1.
We got a battle for the lead, though, going into turn 3. Bobby Hamilton Jr., he wants the lead. He takes it into turn 3.
He drove her down there on the bottom.
And it stuck.
And I'm sure he listened to his dad very well, didn't he? Dad told him to be patient, floated down in there. There was no floating going on there.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. leads this field in that number 26 car. Starting to open up a little bit of a lead. You see 34, David Green, 14 of Larry Ford, the 55 of Mark Green, all battling for position.
When you get up on that outside down there, particularly in turns 1 and 2, you just about have to give up whatever you do. There's no place to go. It's too slick. Got to just get back down in line. Well, Harvick's going backwards now.
There they've got him caught up on the outside. You see Jeff Green in the 10, Greg Biffle in the 60, Jamie McMurray in the 27. He's going to kick him back in position. Harvick would like to get back to the bottom of the racetrack.
And there he comes up off the 2, and as you can see, he had to get up out of the throttle. It's real slick up off that corner. Seen a lot of cars getting the wall over there, and he had to left and let McMurray go right by.
Let's check in with Jeff Hammond. Jeff?
Shauna, your day didn't end like you wanted it to. What happened?
I honestly can't even tell you, except for it's probably about the stupidest thing I've ever seen happen at the beginning of a race. I mean, I was there was no question about it. We were just getting up, and it was like I had a magnet on both sides of my car, and they just compressed me. I don't know what was going on. No brains.
Well, as you can hear right now, she's pretty disgusted with the way her results have been here at Nashville, Steve.
All right, Jeff, thanks. She had high hopes. As Larry McReynolds said, she finished 3rd yesterday in an ARCA race. Looks like she's finished for the day.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage to that car. They'll probably try to hopefully get it fixed back out there and just make some laps, but pretty much it's done for the day for the most part.
Yeah, you really hate to have trouble on it. Like the green flag comes out, you don't even make the first turn. You do anticipate people giving you a little bit more of a break.
Meanwhile, Bobby Hamilton Jr. continuing to lead the pack. These are the first laps, Darrell, that he has led all season.
Yeah, he's been fast. Like his dad said in the opening, he qualifies very, very well every week. But he's had trouble getting it put together in the race. But right now, he is dominant.
Actually, the first race that he's led since 1999. We'll take a look at the entire field as they come through. Darrell, do you think at this point that the drivers are using the type of patience they need that you talked about?
Well, I believe what everybody's doing right now is just trying to get some laps down. Get the feel of the track, get the car, kind of get the tire pressure built up, and really start giving some feedback to your crew chief about what you need to do to the car to make it better.
Let's check in with Matt Yoakum.
Darrell, you're exactly right. Kevin Harvick reporting in his car is okay. He realizes this race is 225 laps in length. And you're not going to win it in the first 10 or 15 laps, so they're just going to fall back in line and pace themselves to their first pit stop. If it goes green, they're hoping to pit around lap 70 to 75.
Well, 300 miles here is a pretty long race, and you do have to have some strategy. You can't just go out there and run the wheels off of it. So I think being a little conservative right now is the right approach.
Well, for what they're trying to accomplish here, that's the big picture. That's the championship. He accomplished the first lap what he needed to. He led a lap. He got 5 bonus points. Fall back in. Let this race unwind. Race this racetrack.
Here comes the 60 car and then 10 car boat closing up on our leader. And those are guys that are big picture racers.
I talked to Greg Biffle this morning in the 60 car. This is a car that was brand new before Bristol. That was up there tested. It got away from him, knocked both ends out. He said, Larry, it's essentially a brand new race car. But he said, I've learned so much about this racetrack in 2 days. He said, I never dreamed you would drive this racetrack like you drive it. I'm using a lot of brake into the corner, getting the car slowed down, get off the brake pedal, let the thing roll through the middle, and really seem like I'm good from the center off. And they're pulling a very low gear here. And gear selection was a real problem, Darrell, because the front stretch is so long and the back stretch is so short. It's about 300 RPM different front stretch to back stretch.
Yeah, well, that's another one of those unknowns. Somebody's going to hit it. I've never gone to a new racetrack where somebody didn't come up with a combination gear setup that made them so much better than everybody else. And you wonder how that one car can be that much better.
Looking out the back of young Clay Rogers' car, 20 years old, lives in Mooresville, North Carolina, getting a second chance to drive that number 17 car.
And this is a backup car. He was one of the cars we talked about in opening, half a dozen car that wrecked in practice, and he had to go to backup car. And we got a battle for the lead here.
Not for long.
Darrell, whatever problems Jeff Green may have thought he had, looked like they've cleared up.
Well, sometimes an engine will load up a little bit.
And he opened the door for Greg Biffle in the 60 car. Greg Biffle wants that second position. Jeff Hammond.
Larry, Jeff Green radioed in and told Harold Holley, hey, the mist has gone away. Car feels pretty good. What do you think? And Harold Holley told him, he said, hey, let's get up there and get us some points and lead this race. I mean, you're kind of like a hometown boy here in Nashville. Let's show them the way. Before the start of this race, the whole team got together, had like a little pep rally, and their commitment today was win, win, win. And that's what they're telling Jeff Green right now. Let's get up there and get it done.
They've had 2 bad weeks in a row. One summer, Jeff Green won 16 late model races here in Nashville, and he leads this race right now. Jeff Green, Bobby Hamilton, Greg Biffle, McMurray, and Wimmer. We'll be right back on FX. Welcome back to the Nashville Superspeedway. We're working our second caution of the day on lap 18. A little skirmish between David Donahue and Tim Fedewa in the 66. Darrell, let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah, I think what happened is what we've seen off this corner over here before, coming off turn 2. 25's pedaling a little bit, 66 sitting, and Donahue goes around and watch this. Ooh, bam, right into the side of Fedewa, sends him sailing back out in the racetrack. Fortunately, nobody else got involved, but I believe that's just a product of that turn being a little slick over there, and Fedewa not giving Donahue enough room there.
Donahue running his first race in that number 25 car. Darrell, as you said, replacing a local driver, Chad Chaffin.
Yeah, and actually, incidents like this are, in my estimation, is what got Chaffin replaced. So That car's gotten torn up a lot this year.
Tim Fedewa on pit road, working to the corner, the right rear corner of that race car.
Took a pretty hard hit.
And it doesn't look like they're doing too much too fast, Larry.
Well, I believe that we've got a NASCAR official here that's standing there, and I question maybe are they penalizing him using the penalty box for some reason?
No, small, just a short penalty, too fast.
Well, we'll find out what the situation is, DW, and have the rest of this 300-miler from the Nashville Superspeedway. You're watching NASCAR on FX. We're still working caution, our second caution of the day. Jeff Green is the leader of the race, followed by Greg Biffle and Bobby Hamilton Jr. Our first caution came out, guys, on the very first lap.
Yeah, it just got too crowded down there going into turn one. And like Shauna said, the car looked like a magnet, sucked a couple into her.
And the reason we're under the caution right now, 66 Tim Fedewa eats up the back end, and then 25 David Donahue.
That was just a bit of impatience there. That's, you know, that's not a good demonstration of being patient.
Tim Fedewa back on, getting off pit road. Let's check in now with Jeff Hammond. Jeff?
Even though it's only 20 laps into this race, a lot of the teams are already calling in. The drivers are saying, hey guys, the track is already tightening up. The car won't turn in the center of the corner. Todd Bodine, and even the leader, Jeff Green, has called in and told Harold Holly, hey, next time we do come in, when we come in, we need to make a little bit of adjustment. Some guys are talking wedge, other guys are talking air pressure. And I know even Darrell begins to question whether or not, well, how can it be that tight 20 laps into the race? But they're already talking about it, Darrell.
Well, what happened is, in my experience been with these concrete racetracks, they make the front end of the car chatter, pop, 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 and it'll cause a lot of excessive tire buildup. You don't want to start these tires down too low, you can damage them. So they'll ease that tire pressure down as the race goes along, and that'll help that situation.
Larry, I keep hearing the drivers and the crew chiefs this weekend talk about we gotta have more grip. And they said when the rubber gets laid down, that'll help. What does that mean exactly?
Well, you know, again, this is a fresh racetrack. We're racing for the first weekend. Other than our little ARCA test a few weeks ago and a Goodyear tire test, there has been no race cars on this racetrack. The more rubber that gets laid down, which is rubber off of the tires they run, we'll start to see this white concrete turn black. That lays a base down that will give the cars more grip. Also, I think it's also what contributes to the racetrack getting tighter. The more rubber that gets down, the more the cars will won't want to turn. And one thing I've always liked about concrete racetracks is they're a little more predictable as far as weather changes. They don't seem to change as much with weather as asphalt does, but the more rubber that gets down, the cars will turn less and less.
Darrell, interesting talking to some of those guys in the garage. Randy LaJoy said it's like white ice, but then Jason Keller said, I love the track.
Well, it just depends on your car. If your car's handling well, then you like it. And this is one of those places where shocks are a premium. Again, you've got a little bit of a, if you've ever driven down a concrete highway and you get that thump, thump that you feel on a concrete highway, that's kind of what you feel on this racetrack. Shock package, air pressure, all those things will be real critical as the race goes along.
Let's go back down to Jeff Hammond.
The one thing, guys, you were talking about the way the racetrack is and being new, realize with concrete, unlike asphalt, you still have a lot of times what they call like a powder or a dust that keeps coming up. And as the track, you know, kind of ages, that'll soon go away. But until that is kind of sealed off, a lot of times the dust or this kind of residue that comes from the concrete itself comes and bleeds back through the track, again, creating a loose situation. And until the rubber's laid down, adds some more of that problem.
All right, thanks, Jeff. We are about ready to go green. Jeff Green is going to lead the field, followed by Greg Biffle, Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that number 26 car, and Jamie McMurray in the 27 car. That's Casey Atwood's old ride.
Yes, it is, and Wimmer's right there too. So we've got some young guys up here in the front chasing that veteran there leading.
Single file restart, still don't have any cars a lap down.
It's amazing me how the race cars will fix themselves there. His transmission looks like it's working perfectly well. Got a great start there, a little jump. Engine's not missing anymore. You get in the lead, it fixes everything. You ever notice that?
Yeah, but I do want to go back to him talking about his ratios a while ago. These teams will work with different transmission ratios based on the gear and the horsepower, and what they want is the least amount of split from first to second, second to third, third to fourth. They want the RPM drop to be as minimal as possible to keep the power up there.
What's that mean, split, Larry? Explain that.
It's the ratio in first gear, in second gear. You know, if you've got too big of a split, in other words, say you've got a real high second gear and a real low third gear, when you go from second to third, the RPMs is going to really bog the car down. So you want to lose the minimum RPMs as you shift through the gearbox to get to high gear.
Close ratio. Like in a car, you'll order a 4-speed, you get a close ratio, which means the ratios are all real close together.
Tight pack of cars there. Mike McLaughlin, the 20. And a big pack coming up behind him.
Boy, you get up on that outside, and it's just like almost like Daytona and Talladega. They freight train you right to the rear.
Randy LaJoie in that 7 car, that white and blue car, won the season opener in Daytona.
This is a backup car. He was involved in the Todd Bodine crash on the open practice day on Friday. Had to go to a backup car.
Saw Kenny Wallace in the 48 starting to backslide a bit. Darryl, give us a tour around this baby. Kenny Wallace in that 48.
Car here, coming down into the first turn, and of course he's not where you want to be. He's hung up on the outside there, and that's the treacherous part of the racetrack right now because there's nothing out there but that dust that Jeff's referring to. So about all you can do is just let people go by until it's safe to get down on the inside. Coming off the 2, that's where they've had a lot of trouble. He'd like to be able to dive in front of somebody right here.
Looking out.
Now we're with Purvis, and this is more like the preferred line. He's coming off turn 4. Here he pick up the throttle, had to pedal it a little bit, down across the start line, drives off into turn 1. Lets off way early. Got to use a lot of brake here. Need to get that left front tire right down on that yellow line. There's Kenny Wallace still hung up on the outside. Got a car in the wall right in front of him. 46 car.
Ashton Lewis up in the wall.
Did you notice how I didn't even flinch? I saw that car.
You went right to it.
I just drove right by it.
You went right to it.
Yes.
Caution is on the speedway for the 3rd time here at lap 30. A lot of damage. He's going to drive it away, but a lot of repairs to do to that car.
I guess they have ground, you know, you grind concrete to smooth it up. And I guess they have ground a lot of the surface down in turns 1 and 2. And it has made it just so slick that if you get out of that groove at all, the car just turns around and backs up in the fence.
Yeah, Randy LaJoie said yesterday, DW, that there's a real slick spot and you have to get out of the gas and be brave about getting back on it because you just feel like you're on ice sometimes.
Yeah, that's what the drivers really are complaining about turns 1 and 2 the most. It seems like 3 and 4 you can really hammer it, but that's bad news. You get a lot of speed in 3 and 4, then you get to turn 1 and you don't know what to do with it.
Ashton Lewis finished 11th at Texas last week, or 2 weeks ago. His best finish of the season, came in here 30th in points, but the engineering graduate of Old Dominion is going to have a tough day. The leaders will not come down pit road, so we'll take this opportunity to do a little business. You're watching the Pepsi 300 from the Nashville Superspeedway on FX.
Biffle tried to go up high, and meanwhile, Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 26 car, he's going to get underneath and pull Jamie McMurray in the 27 with him for that 2nd place.
Yeah, because of the lap car, he didn't know exactly which way he wanted to go, and it cost him a spot.
Murray had to back off there, gets in behind Biffle in that 60.
And that's one of the problems with the speeds that you're running here. These guys qualified at almost 160 miles an hour. They're running in the mid-170s. You can catch a car, but you get up behind them, you lose your front downforce, and the car will not turn. The way to make it turn is get it to the bottom and breathe the left front, but the cars are already running the bottom of the racetrack.
And we're seeing a lot of diverse driving styles. Some guys are really driving in hard and getting on the brakes like you talked about. Other guys are trying to float it down in there, but you can't float it down in there if somebody's on your back bumper.
Should mention very quickly, the 83 car of Jeff Streeter has been on and off pit road. He's back in there. The attention of his crew.
When you've got somebody on the outside of you, whether they could be going 30 mile an hour slower than you are, but it takes away some of the side bite in your car, and it wants to suck the rear end around, takes air off your spoiler. So you really have to tip-a-toe when you go off in the corner with somebody beside you.
This is Mike Skinner now, the 21 car. He's running in the 17th position, started 28th. We just need to make sure everybody knows what's going on with this 21 car, normally driven by Mike Dillon. Mike Skinner drove it 2 weeks ago in Texas. They have elected. Richard Childress has said, I'm going to leave. There you go. Got 0-0. Todd Bodine spinning around off turn 2. No caution yet. They're going to see if he gets it back going. It's a single car spin.
He didn't make any contact with anything. He just got a little help from behind, but he got up out of the groove. And when he did, somebody, I couldn't tell who it was, but somebody got into the back of him and got him doing the old hospital hop over there.
And he's got it back on the racetrack, but our 4th caution is out.
There we go. He's down in there, and he's trying to get back in line. Elton Sawyer gets into the left rear of him, gets him wobbling a little bit, gets it back in, out, trying to save it. But when they start that off that corner, not a whole lot you can do, Larry.
Well, he was trying to save it. The car was moving up, getting up at the top side of that racetrack where there is no grip. We keep talking about that, and the car just come around with it.
But no damage. The car didn't hit anything. He come to a stop over there. He caught a caution, didn't lose a lap. So he can come and get him 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles and try it again.
I'm going to be anxious to see if the leaders come in. We're on lap 38, which is well past halfway of a fuel stop.
Come on, Larry, pitch.
But we've got a lot of cautions. I'm going to pitch you, but I'm going to put 2 only.
Come on, Larry,
put
pitch
fuel
me.
and 2 tires
I
on.
need to come in. I need to look at my tires. I'm getting a little worried.
Leaders are not going to pit. Well, Scott Wimmerner, 23 car, he hits pit road. Elton Sawyer in the 98 car, he hits pit road as well.
I know passing's hard and it's at a premium, but man, I'd want to come in and get a look at my tires after 40 laps.
What's the strategy here, Larry, on that 23? He's been running good.
Well, I got to believe they've looked at the scoreboard. They're almost to lap 40, so I got to believe they're saying, look, we don't want to sit out there and take a chance of a green flag run. Jeff Hammond.
What I'm seeing right now, they just made an early call. They're going to make an adjustment with the track bar. The car's tight in the center of the corner. As we said earlier, this is the way the track seems to be going, so they're making an adjustment, bringing it up. 4 tires on the 23 car.
Booty Barker is the crew chief. That's one of my favorite names on pit road, Booty.
Yeah, when you raise that track bar up, basically what you're doing is raising the rear roll center, and that will allow the car to rotate through the center of the corner much, much better. It's like taking wedge out, but when you mess with the track bar, that affects the car everywhere. Affects it a little bit getting in the corner, affects it a little bit in the middle, affects it a little bit coming off.
98 car of Elton Sawyer on pit road. Made contact with the 0-0. Todd Bodine is down and away. And you know, Elton Sawyer had nowhere to go, DW, on that last incident.
Well, yeah, really Todd was trying to get back down in line, and the 98 car was there. They made some contact. Fortunately, again, neither car's damaged, and Todd spun around. He's back in the race, didn't lose a lap.
All right, Daryl, Jeff, myself, we've been working on our bag of tricks to show you people at home. We want to show you the pictures of raising a track bar. So we've got that this week for you. Our car comes in the pits. The bottom hole right here, the bottom one, that's the track bar adjustment. One hole just on the right side. Runs the wedge wrench down there, same one you adjust wedge with. Here you see it, right over here is connected to the frame. You back it counterclockwise, that's raising the track bar, raising the roll center. That will help that car turn. We're going to see a lot of those adjustments here today.
And the roll center is determined by where the track bar is in the center. So basically you can move it quite a bit and not make a huge change. But the thing I like about the track bar, Larry, is I can feel that everywhere. You put wedge in me or you change the air pressure, I can only feel that in one place. You move that track bar, I can feel that everywhere.
And Daryl, normally one round, Jeff, one round is 1/4 of an inch, and that's a pretty significant change.
Yes, Larry, what you're saying about those adjustments are very key and very crucial. On the 0-0, Todd Bodine, what we talked about earlier, the car was so tight. What happened was he was trying to keep it down, and it just actually kind of broke loose on him, and around he came. They were able to come in and make an adjustment, a bite as well as air pressure on the 0-0. But not to forget the 98 car of Elton Sawyer, when he came in, who was also involved in this incident, he pulled a rubber out of the right front because his car also is too tight in the center, and they're getting ready to go back green.
Jeff Green once again will lead the field. And we are underway once again on lap number 4.
And Speedo was sitting right there, and he's saying, man, with all these cautions, if I could jump out here and get in front of that leader, I might get that lap back.
Look at the restart Jeff Green's getting. Daryl, if he don't have the right ratios. I'd hate to see what he'd do if he had the right ratios.
Here's something to consider, Larry. Sometimes when you are the lead dog, you can start the race the way you want to, and that makes a huge difference in the gear ratio. If you're back in there where you got to anticipate and wait for somebody to go before you do, that can affect it as well. So he's set up to be in the lead, and it's working pretty darn good.
He can dictate the speed of the restart.
Right.
Hey, I got to say something. That graphic on that track bar from your bag of tricks, that was awesome, boys.
Well, we got plenty more to do this year. We keep coming up with more.
We did want to see that track bar.
We want to show you pictures.
Jason Keller to 57 by Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, you can explain all that stuff all you want to, but when you got pictures, then the fan at home gets a better idea of what we're talking about.
Daryl, take a look at that net to the right side.
Yeah,
the
that's
driver's cockpit there.
A lot of drivers have those in there now, and it's just it's better than having something solid. He can see through that, but that net does the same thing as having a great big old headrest poked up there. So he can still get his good vision, his peripheral vision, with the same amount of protection.
Scott Wimmer, that number 23, he was one of the cars to hit pit road. A rookie up from the ASA Series, won 2 races last year, Daryl. It was a family deal. He went with his brother and his father. He was only going to run 8 races. Well, heck, they won at Lanier, then they won at Hickory, and all of a sudden he was running for the championship.
Now his brother's driving this year and doing pretty well as well, so that's a great racing family.
Tim Fiedler got loose once again, trying to get that lap back, but it's not going to happen.
Boy, he's up in that second groove. There's just no grip there. Look at him. You saw the back end of the car coming around right there.
Take a look at the replay.
Yeah, he gets a little bobble there, and buddy, he's hanging on for dear life right there. You don't know whether to gas it, brake it, or close your eyes and hang on.
Hank Parker Jr. gets ready to go, or does go back underneath of it. Back up front, look at the lead Jeff Green has over Bobby Hamilton Jr.
Got Biffle right back there really working on Bobby Hamilton. Biffle's car's got a pretty serious push as he comes off turn 4, and that causes him a lot of momentum. Otherwise, I think he's faster, but he's stuck in behind Bobby Jr., and he can't get the nose out there to get the downforce to make the pass.
Let's go to Matt Yoakum. He has more on Greg Biffle.
And Steve, we documented earlier on about Greg Biffle's arrow push when he tucks up behind another car. I spoke with his crew chief, Randy Goss, down here in the 60 pits. They feel like with a number of cautions and lack of green flag laps, they can go to about lap 83 before they run out of fuel. But they would like to pit the next caution because what they're afraid of is if they don't pit, get off sequence, we'll get into a long green flag run and then they'll be in deep trouble.
Well, I'm not so sure, Larry, that lap 38 caution was not the perfect time to pit, because that is what's going to happen. These guys will settle down, and we'll get into some long green runs here. And if I hadn't been in the pit yet so far, I'd be worried.
Here we see Mike Skinner. He's running in 12th position again after starting 28th. I want to finish my story from a while ago. Richard Childress, after Mike Dillon, who normally drove this race car, he had a bad crash at Bristol. He had a bad crash right here at the Goodyear tire test. They elected, hey, we're going to put Mike Skinner in the car for the rest of the year at the companion Winston Cup events or off weekends like this weekend at Nashville. They have not determined who they're going to put in the car at the other events. Mike Dillon's still working for Richard Childress. They don't know what capacity, but he's still employed. He still will be working there. He'll still have a job.
But Larry, is he going to race again?
Well, I don't think that's been determined yet. The biggest thing is getting him healed up.
Kevin Harvick gets back by the 27 of Jamie McMurray. Good pass there, Daryl. Made it look good.
It really was, and McMurray used his head, and he saw that Harvick had the position, and he let him go. And that's all you can do when you get your nose under somebody like that, particularly going in turn 1.
That was for 6th position. Harvick started on the pole. Jason Keller in that blue and white 57. He's starting to make a move behind the 43 of Jay Sauter. Wow, that's tight.
When I thought about a concrete racetrack in Busch National Series, the first person I wanted to talk to was Jason Keller. He's had a lot of success on concrete. He had success at Bristol. He's won races there. He had success at Dover. He won races there. I said, Jason, what do you like about the concrete? He said, Larry, maybe it's just in my mind, but he he said, when they change my race car, I can feel the change. Maybe it's just coincidental it's on concrete, but I like concrete. And the biggest statistic I like about Jason Keller, it's the reason he finished second the points last year and second this year. He's been running at the end of 35 consecutive races. That's what's winning the championship.
Plus his teammates leading the race right now, and so they have very, very similar cars, very similar setups. They change a lot of notes.
Jeff Green, Randy LaJoie in that 7 underneath the 74 of Chad Little. That was for the 8th position. Jeff Green continues to lead here at the Nashville Superspeedway, working lap 53 of 225. Huge crowd on hand, and we'll be right back. And we are about to have a battle for the lead. Greg Biffle on the outside of Jeff Green. Made it work, boys.
Off into turn 3.
Hey, tomorrow morning on Fox Sports Net, it's NASCAR this morning at 10 a.m. local. John Roberts get you set for all the racing action. Review today's race and Victory Lane at 9 p.m. Eastern, also on Fox Sports Net. Let's go down to Matt Yoakum, who has more on the lead change.
That was a deal made between the spotters of the 10 car, Jeff Green, and the 60 of Greg Biffle. They just came back on the radio and said, are you going to let him have it back? He says, yes, sir, 10-4 when he gets back to me.
When I walked through that garage area this morning and kind of took my little survey, everybody pointed at that 60 car and Greg Biffle. And something that they don't realize, a lot of people don't realize, is Jack Roush, who owns Greg Biffle's car, he also builds the motor for the 10 car, Jeff Green, and that teammate of Jason Keller in 57 here.
Jay Sauter in that 43 car, that's 3rd position. He's followed by Jason Keller in the 57, Kevin Harmon in the 2. We're looking through the windshield of Kevin Harmon. Daryl, you heard him get off the gas right there.
Yeah, actually, the motor sounds a little flat in that car. I know they're pulling quite a bit of gear in that car, which I think is a good thing for the long haul. If the engine will take it, the motor sounds just a little flat in that bad boy.
But Daryl, he's definitely backing off the throttle way back on the straightaway right here, trying to let it roll through the corner, pick that throttle up way before the center of the corner.
Yeah, you see the deal made there. Now they're changing, now they're exchanging favors. I'll let you lead, now let me back in front.
Deal complete, Matt Yoakum.
That's exactly right. That was the deal. And I spoke with Jeff Green yesterday afternoon. He said that they do a lot of communication back and forth, although they are different manufacturers. They do the engine programs together at Roush, so they do try to exchange information and work together, helping out this young rookie, Greg Biffle.
Yeah, actually, they're both Ford Tauruses, so I think that the engine program and everything seems to be working good with the team.
Randy LaJoie gets by Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that 26. Randy won the season opening race at Daytona. Just one other top 10 since then. Looks pretty good today.
Yeah, but you know, he won at Nashville. Certainly not this Nashville, but he's a former Nashville winner.
Started way back in 18th position. He's just progressively making his way to the front today.
Jay Sauter in the 43. Jason Keller closing up behind him. That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Harvick in the number 2.
Harvick looks a little tight, Steve. His car's getting up the hill and up the track just a little bit further than I think he'd really like for it to.
You know, Jay Sauter had a great run in Texas.
I was just fixing to say, Daryl, I think what these guys may have going for them is old Big Mo. In the first 6 races, they only had 1 top 10. They come back with a 3rd place finish at Fort Worth. Up here running 3rd today.
Let's go down to Matt Yoakum.
Jason Keller in that number 57 car is experiencing his best start this season. Started 12, now up to 4th. He told me this morning, confidence for him is always higher when he goes to a concrete racetrack. His last 2 Busch Series victories came on concrete at Bristol and Dover. He says his feel on the concrete is much better than on pavement because he can help keep his car constant throughout the race. He doesn't have as difficult a time making changes during the race, trying to keep that car where he wants it.
Thanks, Matt. Daryl, isn't that a mindset? If you go to a place, I don't care what kind of a racetrack it is, but if you like it, you're going to run good, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. It adds to the comfort factor. Plus, when you're comfortable on a particular racetrack or a particular surface, you can just give the team so much more information. You can feed back so much more to the crew chief about what your car's doing and what the crew chief can do to help you.
Daryl, I believe you're right about one thing. They go down in the center of the corner. Kevin Harvick in the 2, he can't keep his car to the bottom. Here you see him going off in the turn 1, right behind Jason Keller, right there. Moves up about a lane. He has to take the car, take a set, back off the throttle a little bit to get that thing to turn. Sometimes that's the only thing, besides turning the steering wheel, that will help the car turn, backing off the throttle and backpedaling a little bit.
Yeah, I think I like what he's trying to do with the real low gear and ease down into turns and then really accelerate up off the corner hard. But the car's got to cooperate for that to work. It's got to turn when you get ready to go.
Like you guys said, you can see that black groove starting to work its way in. Biffle and Jeff Green swapping the lead again. I don't know if that was part of the deal.
I don't think. I actually think Biffle's car right at this point of the race is a little bit better than Green's. When he gets in front, he seems to be able to pull away a little bit. So I believe Biffle out front is better than Green. How about it, Matt? What do you find out?
DW, you are exactly right. They were talking over the radio, and he told his crew chief, Randy Goss, Greg Biffle did, that his car runs much better out front. But let the 10 car let him go by. It might help out both of them, because remember we talked earlier, that number 60 car gets an aero push when he's tucked up behind someone.
Aero push, Daryl, explain that.
Well, what that is there's no downforce on the nose, and you can fix that a number of ways. You can pull the front fenders out. Now that slows the car down the straightaway a little bit because you're making the car bigger. But the more you pull those fenders out, the more you're going to plant those tires into the racetrack. When you're behind another car, it's just like being in the wake behind a boat. There's an area there where there's no air and the car just doesn't have enough pressure pushing down on the nose of it to make the front tires bite.
So what, you got to lift out of the gas?
You'll have to get up out of the throttle and let the front end take a set on its own.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that 26 car starting to slide backwards a little bit. But Mike Skinner, the 21, moves forward.
Well, you know something? Now we're at 69 laps. These cars have not been in the pits. A few of them have, but most of them haven't. I'm starting to worry about my tires. Now I tell you, this concrete is hard on tires until we get some rubber down on it. It's very abrasive. I don't want to come in and look at those tires at that 40 lap mark.
I talked to Mike Skinner this morning. In fact, brought back old memories. Went out to his motor coach this morning, had a cup of coffee with him. He told me his car was good in happy hour. The biggest thing that they focused on in happy hour is scuffing their tires. And what we mean by that, they would take a brand new set of tires, put them on the car, go out and run 3 or 4 laps, and we got a crash in turn 1, car in the wall. That's Mike Harmon in the 44 car.
Lap 70, our 5th caution comes out. Daryl, you were just saying, the boys need to hit pit road.
Well, you know, it's funny how it works sometimes, right? When you really start to sit on that hot stove down there and sweat a little bit, the caution comes out and saves you. You crew chiefs are the luckiest guys in the world.
Well, this is a real break, though, for our leaders, because there were about 8 to 10 laps from having to come to pit road, and Scott Wimmer in that 23 car, he's the one that would have been out there leading this race.
Yeah, I liked Wimmer's. I liked the call they made on Wimmer. Almost worked out for him. You come in under green here, you're going to lose a lap.
Our 5th caution of the afternoon came out on lap 70. 44 car of Mike Harmon. He actually hit the wall yesterday during rush hour. Having a tough time here.
Just seems like once you just can't figure a place out, and you just keep digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. He's right behind the leaders, and I'm sure that probably his crew is saying, man, if you can pick it up a little bit, let's try to stay on the lead lap. And he just overdrove the corner.
And that's probably one of the worst things you can do at this racetrack is start overdriving it, get up in that second groove, car just gets away from you. Hard hit in turn 1 and 2.
Hard hit, and you see the fire coming out from the hood. That's probably broke the fuel pump and letting a little gas out on the hot headers.
All right, think the leader's going to hit pit road? They're going to have to.
It's going to be busy pit road. 4 tires, few adjustments for everybody.
Yeah, this is a very timely caution for everybody.
Pit road speed, 45 miles an hour. All the teams have 3 sets of tires they can change under caution. This will be the first set for most everybody.
What do you think, Larry? 4, 2?
4 tires. Jeff Hammond, nobody's thinking about changing 2, are they?
Absolutely not. The 10 car came in. Jeff Green's going to get 4 tires. Car's a little tight. They're taking 1 round out of the left rear. 1 round out of the left rear. They come around to the left side. Down to you, Matt Yoakum.
The wedge wrench is in the back window. They were talking about 1 round up. Also an air pressure adjustment for the 60 car. The 43 car, the bottom of your screen, they were talking about making a chassis. He's down the lane, 16.8 seconds. 20 seconds flat for the 60.
Well, Biffle was in there for a long time. 20-second stop for that 60 car.
And when I see that, I usually think maybe they're doing something. They're taking a rubber out of a spring, putting a rubber in a spring, making some kind of a chassis adjustment that holds them up on pit road.
Greg Biffle had the lead when he came on to pit road. We'll get it all sorted out and get this race restarted right now. We'll take care of some business. You're watching NASCAR Busch Series Racing on FX. Under caution for the 5th time this afternoon at the Nashville Superspeedway. Jeff Green is our leader, followed by Jay Sauter in the 43, Kevin Harvick in the 2. Let's go to Jeff Hammond.
Your leader, Jeff Green, came in and they had a really great pit stop, got him back out first. The car was just a little bit tight. Again, they took 1 round to bite out, got a chance to look at the tires. It's showing about 5 degrees tight. Biggest problem was just a little bit of air push. They made a little air pressure adjustment. Also, Scott Wimmer, who stopped earlier, came in and only got 2 tires, guys, and he has now moved up quite a bit and got himself back in contention. Matt Yoakum.
Well, bad luck for Bobby Hamilton Jr. He came on the radio exiting pit road and said, guys, I don't believe it, but I may have a flat left front tire. He did indeed come back down pit road. They changed the left front tire. It was cut. Also, a problem may be developing on the 43 car of Jay Sauter. They feel like there may be a hole in the radiator. The car is running very hot. They're talking about possibly coming back down pit road.
All right, thanks very much, Matt. Tough break for Bobby Hamilton Jr. was running so well today.
Boy, but he caught it he caught it at a good time. At least he didn't wait till he went back to green, so he lost a lot of track position, but he didn't lose a lap, and that's big right now.
I want to elaborate on one thing Jeff Hammond said. He talked about those guys being 5 degrees tight. What that means, as soon as these tires come off the racetrack, the crew checks a lot of things about them. Air pressure buildup, tire temperatures, tire wear. They got the temperature across the right front tire. They got the average of the temperature across the right rear tire. The right front tire was 5 degrees hotter than the right rear, 5 degrees tight. Push.
Tells you how you're handling. Jeff Green continues to lead here in Nashville. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Nashville Superspeedway. Jeff Green continuing to lead the race. Now, the 0-0 of Todd Bodine brought out a caution on lap 38, but right now he's in the 5th position, guys.
When he spun here, it brought the caution out, and he had to come in and take on 4 tires. Remember, we talked at the beginning, they only have 3 sets of tires. All they did on that pit stop was make an adjustment. No tires. They still have 2 sets of tires like everybody else has, and we're back racing here.
Jeff Green leading. Jay Sauter in the 43 right behind him, followed by Kevin Harmon, Greg Biffle, Todd Bodine, Elton Sawyer, Jason Keller, Scott Wimmer, Mike Skinner, and Randy LaJoie. That's your top 10.
Boy, feet-wise, trying to desperately get that lap back, but he also almost took out their leader right there. I didn't like that restart when he was going down in the corner beside Green, and it cost Green dearly.
But meanwhile, look who's taking the lead here. Jay Sauter in the 43, and he's pulled Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle with him going into turn 3.
Jay Sauter finished 3rd at Texas, has not led a lap in the 2001 season. Biffle underneath Harvick.
Green was a big loser on that restart. Anytime you got lap cars up there like that, and they race you off in the first corner.
Well, look at Green. He got down to the bottom, car got loose, shot all the way up the racetrack. They start stacking up behind him.
Trouble behind them, guys. They're all stacking up correct. They're all behind them.
Dan Pardis in the 32, Tony Raines in the 33, Rich Bickle in the 59. Caution is out for the 6th time.
You just cannot get up on that outside on either end of the racetrack.
Well, that 10 car just took off. I don't think anybody got into him.
No, I don't either. I think he just tried to drive it down there. He was frustrated because he lost those positions on the restart, and I think he was trying to make them all up in one turn.
Darrell, that's the exact spot Randy LaJoie was talking about yesterday during practice. Right down in there. Once you get in turn 1, there's a spot there, he said it's awful slick.
One of the things that you got to realize from a driver's perspective, that restart cost Jeff a lot. And as good a driver as he is and as calm and cool as he can be, you still get frustrated. You get angry. You lose your focus momentarily, and sometimes it bites you dearly.
Greg Biffle is the leader of the race, working our 6th caution of the day.
Plus, the cars are on very, very low air pressure now, I'm sure. I'm sure everybody's dropped some more air out of the tires. And on the first couple laps, the cars don't stick as well as you'd like for them to. Not as predictable as you'd like for it to be.
And as the race goes on, the reason they keep dropping air pressure out of these tires is to try to enhance the grip these cars will get. And Jay Sauter, that problem maybe continues. He's hit pit road.
Watch this restart. You got Biffle down on the inside. They go off in the corner. Biffle wiggles a little, gets up into the side of green, shoves him up the hill. Here comes Sauter and Harvick, then Biffle. And right now, this 60 car guy. And here's Green.
This is off into turn 1 the next time through there. You see the car get real loose.
Got loose. And this caused all these cars behind him to have to react, because everybody's gotten up there so far has spun out. So your spotter's saying, got a car high, back it down, back it down. Some guys back it down, some guys run into each other.
Jay Sauter is on pit road with the hood up on that 43 car. Man, he was having a good run.
Talked about possibly a hole in the radiator. I'm seeing a lot of water on the ground. Matt Yoakum, are they going to change that radiator?
That's what they're talking about doing, Larry. You can see them bring in the radiator. He has shut the engine off. They said the engine had reached about 240 degrees on water. They're trying not to lose a lap. A tough break for this 43 team, coming off a great run at Texas, hoping to keep that momentum going. They're running around frantically trying to get this radiator changed so they do not lose a lap. But a tough break for the 43 team.
Now what they're talking about, that's a radiator, spare radiator, and you see right there, that's supposed to have a plug in it. And they're running around looking for a plug to put in there. A lot of teams, they don't anticipate having to make changes like this, and sometimes they're not as prepared as they'd like to be.
And it used to be one of the most frustrating things for me. These cars have got 10,000 pieces on it, and you try to prepare every piece you could, and every time you needed something, it would slip through the cracks, and you wouldn't be as prepared as you thought you were.
Now here we go down in the corner. The 10 car just drives in there real hard. The car gets a little loose with it as he goes up the hill. Now most of the time the spotters are hollering, there's a car high, car high. We've seen a lot of cars spin out right there. All these guys, all of a sudden they start slowing down because they don't know where that 10 car's going. Somebody's hollering, back it down. Somebody turns it around. A few guys run into the back of each other. A little mayhem there in the first turn.
That was Dan Pardis in the 32 car that spun around.
Another look at it from in-car camera, and as you can see, the track is pretty much blocked. Where do I go? Where do I go? What do I do? And really, you're at the mercy of the spotter. A lot of times the smoke will just blind the driver, and the spotter can see all the way through the smoke, but you can't.
Darrell, I got to give you drivers some credit. If I was Jeff Green, 99.9% of the population would have got a foot full of brakes. He just eased off and then got back in line.
Got to drive through it, man. It's just like driving on ice or snow. If you hit that brake, you lock the tires up, you spin out, hit the wall. Good drivers use the gas pedal, not the brake pedal.
Jeff Green avoids disaster with the wall between 1 and 2, but lost track position. He's back now in the 8th position. Take a look at his performance here, 2001. His last 2 starts, he's had it rough. Got caught up in a wreck at Bristol and at Texas. Darrell, you talked about how he took responsibility for a wreck. He said, I just lost it. So the last 2 weeks have been tough for Jeff Green.
Well, that's a new pro. You know, they've changed makes, and sometimes there's things about the cars that you have to learn, particularly aero things, aero packages, aerodynamic things. So a lot of times the car will do things that you didn't expect it to do.
When you look at Jeff Green, though, he's going to leave here, go straight to Fontana, California, and test a Winston Cup car Monday and Tuesday. And what group is he going to drive for? He's going to drive for RCR, and the group that will handle his race car will be Todd Barrier, and the group that looks after Kevin Harvick's Busch Grand National car. I mean, here's 2 teams and guys that have battled for the championship, and that's the group he's going to go run Fontana with, is a 3rd RCR car, car number 30.
I always love to do that. Then you say, oh, so that's how you guys do that. Oh, so that's how y'all beat me.
Hey, you know, another thing Harold Holly has talked about, the crew chief on that 10 car, Larry, is working with front-end geometry. What does that mean?
Well, they're moving the suspension points around, trying to play with the roll centers and stuff to meet this new tire combination. We're going back green racing here.
Greg Biffle's going to lead the field. And he's been causing trouble, Darrell, at 66, trying to get his lap back.
Yeah, he just about got into the side of the 60 car, come down to take the green. That cost him some momentum, so he won't be racing the leaders down in there quite so hard. But his car is not handling all that well, and he's up there trying to get that lap back. I can't fault him for that, but he needs to be a little bit more cautious.
Greg Biffle in the lead in that silver and red number 60, followed by Kevin Harvick in the blue number 2.
Watch this restart right here. Watch that 66 car down on the inside, Biffle up on the outside. All of a sudden they holler, go, 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 and watch that 66 car fishtail a little bit. Whoa, oh. That's kind of like asking the guy, that's kind of like asking him before you get to the first turn, will you give me some room?
Got his attention anyhow.
Got his attention.
See the 98 car right there, Elton Sawyer started in 11th position. The question was, how did he get the 4th after that caution? He, like Todd Bodine, he took no tires on that caution because he had been on lap 39, used one of his sets of tires. They was just a little bit afraid of using a second set even before the halfway point.
Jason Keller picks up another spot. He's into the 4th position. Todd Bodine gets loose.
When you drive it down in there, drive in to turn hard, get on the brakes, and there's just no saving the car. I mean, no grip out there. You know, just let it go until it loses a little momentum and then try to drive it off.
Scott Wimmer in the 23 right behind the 00 of Todd Bodine. And we've got cars loose up at turn 4. It's the 11 of Marty Houston.
These guys look like they're skating. They go in the corner and somebody gives them a little brush and they just kind of skate over so softly up the racetrack. Some of them kiss the wall, some of them don't.
And you'll be going along, Darrell. You'll go through one end good, you'll go through the other end good, you'll go down to the next end, and the car just take off, and you won't know why in the world or what happened.
No, it can be very confusing when you have a track like this. You don't know what to tell your team, and the spotter's up there asking you what's going on. Hard to put it all together. Watch this.
The replay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what happened was that 8 car got down on the apron going into 3, and
that was Frank Kimmel, 2-time ARCA champion, getting into the side of the 11, Marty Houston.
Marty Houston up the hill. Marty did a great job of not hitting the wall.
Let's go down to Matt Yoakum.
Steve, the news gets even worse for the 43 team and driver Jay Sauter. They put the new radiator in, tried to start the car, it wouldn't fire. Now steam is coming out the tailpipes. Let's take a look at the radiator that came out of the car. You can see the small little hole right here where a piece of debris went up and hit the coils. It doesn't take much, but that's what is the problem that has sidelined the 43 team and driver Jay Sauter. Just a little dent right there.
Darrell, how frustrating is that for a driver who's had a great race car to be sidelined by that?
Well, it always takes the wind out of your sails, if you will, or lets the water out of your radiator in this case. He was driving a great race, and you know, nothing he did wrong, just bad luck. Something flew through the grill opening, poked a hole in his radiator, and he's out of the race.
Here's a battle for 3rd, the 98 Elton Sawyer, the 57 of Jason Keller. Keller gets by it.
Keller's had a really strong looking car. He started back and he's just worked his way methodically to the front up to 3rd place. Car looks really good right around the bottom of the racetrack. He's going forward.
You know, Jason Keller, he's just 30 years old, but he's been in the Busch Series for a long time. Darrell, at one point, I know he was talking to Andy Petrie about a Winston Cup ride, owned his own Busch Grand National team, but now, driving for another team, he feels a lot better mentally.
Yeah, I think so. Owning your own cars it's fun for a while, but the expense and the headaches and dealing with the people, it's just better to drive the things and let somebody else do it.
Mike Skinner in the 21 car. Now, he's been picking up positions. He did lose a position a while ago to what I think may be one of the quickest cars on the racetrack, and that was Randy LaJoy in the 7 car. But I had spoke earlier, Mike Skinner spent most of happy hour scuffing his new tires. And the reason that he was scuffing the tires is on this concrete surface. Normally, tires that has been run a little bit would grip a little bit better.
Mike Dillon looks on. Let's go to Jeff Hammond.
Down here in Mike Skinner's pit, Gil Morgan and we'll see also former driver Mike Dillon. They're conversing right now. And they told me a moment ago they haven't had to work on the car hardly at all today. They made a little air pressure adjustment early on. Plan on stopping hopefully just one more time. But one thing I've noticed right here watching the guys work is Mike Dillon is quite a cheerleader today. He's been standing up, cheering Mike Skinner on in the 21 car. And they really feel very confident before the end of the day they can contend for the win.
I tell you, Gil there is a former, he's a Nashville guy. Started working for Filbert Batassi when Bobby Hamilton drove for him. And he's a really, really good crew chief.
Mike Skinner moved into the top 10. He's in the 9th position. Jimmy Johnson, boy, he had a terrible day yesterday.
Boy, he did.
He's had a terrible weekend. Again, completed his qualifying laps and crashed going into turn 1. Unloaded the backup car, this car right here, and lost a motor. The unique thing about this car, 3 weeks ago, they had to go to a backup car at Bristol and finish 4th. This car was put on the truck as a backup for here, had to unload it again.
Trouble down here, 4th turn.
It's Jeff Purvis in the 18 car.
Boy, he's doing everything he can.
The whole field's coming toward him.
Oh, no.
This is not a good thing.
71 of Kevin LePage also gets sideways.
Well, Purvis was doing everything he could to hang on to it, try to keep from spinning the thing all the way around, but it was coming up in front of the leaders was the problem.
Boy, and lucky nobody hit anything or anybody else. Jeff Purvis from Clarksville, Tennessee.
Kevin LePage in the 71 trying to get it back going and stay on the lead lap, and he will do that.
Yeah, and the 83 car just got a lap back.
Jeff Streeter.
It's good heads up driving on his part, on the 83's part.
Our 7th caution of the day.
I don't think Purvis didn't really ever, he just kissed the wall with the right rear. I don't think he did a whole lot of damage to the car. You can see over there on the right side, got a little bit of a kink in that right rear quarter panel, but I don't think the car's hurt badly enough to put him out of the race.
For all we saw, that's very little damage.
For here, yeah, that's a great job. Boy, he was doing everything he could to hang on to it. She was hopping all over the place, and he was steering her to death. Watch him, he gets up here. He's up in that loose stuff. Got the back end, kisses the wall. And now he's gassing it, and now he's saying, come on, baby, straighten up. Now, the problem is right behind him here is the whole field bearing down on him in a hurry. Here they come.
Wow. There you see Kevin LePage in the 71 spinning around off turn 4.
And again, you got your spotter, and your spotter's trying to tell you where to go and what to do, but when you don't, the car didn't ever take a set. It never stopped anywhere, kept moving. Spotter's trying to second guess where he's going to end up.
On board with Jeff Purvis.
Watch his hands over there. Steer, 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 steer. Whoop, yep, back the other way, back, back, back. He's just working really hard trying to keep the thing. Look at that.
He had it corrected about 6 times.
Daryl, is that instinct? I mean, you're feeling which way to jack that wheel?
That's called flying by the seat of your pants right there.
And he couldn't tell you how he did it, could he?
I did it.
All right. Working our 7th caution of the afternoon here on lap number 96. Tommy Morgan looks on. We'll be right back to the Nashville Superspeedway. Big crowd on hand to watch the inaugural Pepsi 300 here at the Nashville Superspeedway. You're watching NASCAR Busch Series racing on FX. We have more Busch Series racing for you on FX at Talladega next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern on the Fox Family Networks. Fontana, California, Saturday, April 28th. And Richmond, Virginia, a night race, May 4th. That's at 7:30 p.m. Let's go to Jeff Hammond on Jeff Purvis.
Yeah, the 18 car, Jeff Purvis, he brought his Pontiac down to pit road for 2 stops. First time in, they got 4 tires and started to repair some of the damage. But the second time in, they came in and crew chief Doug Richard actually went over the wall and helped the crew make the repairs as far as straightening the rear spoiler, replacing the spoiler brace that was broke, and applying the Band-Aids. I call them Band-Aids. It holds the sheet metal together on the right rear quarter panel. It appears that seemed to be all the damage to the car, and everybody right now seems to be pretty confident they'll be able to make their way back up here with no other problems. Steve?
Thanks, Jeff. Bobby Hamilton Jr. had a great run early. Started in the 3rd position, but you see, made it up to 2nd. Fell all the way to 32nd on lap 76, currently riding 19th. Understand he's lost 2nd gear.
And where that's going to hurt him is right here on this restart. He's going to have to either restart in first gear or third. We talked about splits earlier, going from first to third. That motor will really lug, really struggle with RPMs.
Yeah, and news is the thing, they don't last all day when they start flying apart like that.
Green flag in the air. Greg Biffle leads Kevin Harvick, Jason Keller, Elton Sawyer in that 98. Scott Wimmer, the rookie, in that number 23 car in fifth.
Like the lap car of Marty Houston in that 11 held about the fourth place on back, but Elton Sawyer in the 98, he clears him.
Tight pattern just beside him. Jeff Green in that 10 car. Bodine in the 00. Back at the front, Kevin Harvick wants some of that 60 car.
Biffle's not going to make it easy for him, that's for sure.
You can see that concrete dust come up there.
He was all the way against the wall up there where not a lot of cars has run against the wall, and that's where the dust is starting to settle, stirring a little bit of it up. Kevin Harvick, he's going to look to the inside. He wants that lead here on lap 100.
Trouble down here in turn 2, guys. Trouble.
Oh,
man.
That's Clay Rogers, the 17 youngster out of Mooresville, North Carolina. 83 of Jeff Streeter also involved. He's had a tough day. 8th caution comes out on lap 101.
This is a car that's normally driven, the Visine car, normally driven by Matt Kenseth. Some of the races that's on off weekends or conflicts bad with Winston Cup races, Clay Rogers, the young rookie, will be driving.
He hit the wall hard, Darrell.
He really did. I looked up, I saw sheet metal flying, and he got it in there really hard, front end first. Looks like he gets together with somebody here. Round she goes, and
that was Stedman Marlin in the 95 car there on the low side.
That's a hard
Sterling's son.
And then he gets another little shot right there. Jeff Streeter had just gotten a lap back on this last caution. Boy, everybody's looking for a place to go.
Not sure. They know he's going to slide down the racetrack. That's what happened right here. Jeff Streeter dove to the high side, just barely skimmed past the front end. Matt Kenseth will be back in this Visine car next week at Talladega.
Let's take a look on board. Clay Rogers.
Boy, when you see him jolt, when you see that jolt like that, that just, man. See the driver how it jostles him around in there. Those are hard licks.
Darrell, you never know when licks are going to stop.
No, you don't. You're afraid to look around.
They look underneath the hood of Clay Rogers' number 17 car. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're near halfway of the Pepsi 300. Clay Rogers is on the hook, his second start of this season in that number 17 car. Let's ride with him on board.
Going off into turn 1, everything looks normal right here. Turns down in the corner.
Green hit the gas, mad at the gas, trying to keep it up off the wall, but it doesn't work.
There's the last slick. He was sliding down the racetrack.
Meanwhile, Jeff Purvis on lap 94, also involved in a spin.
Car got loose way back getting in the corner, Darrell.
Yeah, but he didn't get any help. See, Clay got help from another car, so it kind of lost control of his car. Here, this is kind of a one-car incident where you just do all you can to keep it off the fence.
He had to refire the car. The car stalled out on him.
Talked about Bobby Hamilton Jr. having a tough day. Let's go down to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Steve, he has climbed all the way back up to 19th from that early trouble on pit road. Remember we talked about how he had a left front tire go down. Well, what actually happened? Upon further investigation, they found out that Bobby Jr. actually ran over the rear tire changer's impact, got on the 2 car of Kevin Harvick. You can see popped a hole, and then when the air started to go out, it started breaking down the sidewall, and then this thing went entirely flat. That's what happened to the 26 car, Bobby Hamilton Jr. One other problem, he's also lost second gear, guys.
Darrell, can you win a race here without second gear?
Well, he's having a lot of problems here, and you got all these other guys that are, they got everything going in their favor. Anything that takes away from your effort will keep you from winning this race.
We're working caution number 8 on lap 105. Big crowd having a great time here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Hope you are too. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Nashville Superspeedway. We're under caution for the 8th time this afternoon. Greg Biffle in that 60 car, trying to win his first NASCAR Busch Series race. He's the defending Truck Series champion. Oh, they all love DW here in Tennessee.
The love, man, the love.
Speak of signs, when we went to break a while ago, we seen a sign that said, "Happy birthday, Mom." From all of us, we want to wish our own Steve Burns happy birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Rich Russo, the director, it's also his birthday.
Oh, okay. You kept that a secret at dinner last night,
Steve.
Birthday to you.
Well, that's nice of you boys.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Are you 29?
Yeah, something like that. Oh, Darrell Waltrip, if you love DW also, go to foxsports.com and get on allwaltrip.com.
Oh, we have some very interesting tidbits that we share with people on that little site. Pictures, lots of pictures, things from the past, talking about the future, telling good stories, Junior Johnson stories. Harmon, you got anything going? You got it all Harmon website, bud?
No, DW, I don't have an all Harmon website yet, okay? I mean, I do not want to rival you too much. I know where my place is. But one thing here, I'm sitting here in the 00 pit of Todd Bodine and talking to his crew chief a few minutes ago, Gary Cogswell. They have a little bit of a strategy and plus a little bit of a gamble going on here. They gambled on the fact that they didn't take on tires and the car would be good, and they're hoping that they can get a caution about lap 130 so they can get in here with the rest of the leaders, kind of like get back on the same sync so they can make a run for this win. They don't feel like they've got very much for the 60 car, but they do think they can run second. And right now they're getting ready to go back green.
Greg Biffle gets a good jump going down into turn 1. Donahue in that 25 car, he's fighting a big arrow push.
Yes, he is. That's going to be the way it's going. That's going to be the way a lot of cars are going to look for this day's over with.
116 laps to go. Greg Biffle, Harvick taking a look down on the inside, and Jason Keller looks good at that 57.
Well, he does. His car looks better than actually Harvick's or Biffle's. Really getting up off the corners good. He's cutting underneath the Harvick there. Take a look to the inside.
Here's another guy that's looking good right here. This is a battle for 6th position. Jeff Green in that 10 car working on Todd Bodine in that double off car.
Boy, remember that 10 car, Jeff Green, as he looks underneath the 00. Let's move forward. Jason Keller at 57. He walks by Harvick.
He's got the position going down in there. That could be mighty, mighty testy with somebody on the outside of you like that, but 3 and 4 seems to have more grip than 1 and 2. Seems to be able to make some good passes down to 3 and 4. 1 and 2, you got to be careful with.
Darrell was about to say, remember Jeff Green on lap 78 about to hit the wall. He's doing a great job to stay back in contention in the 6th position. Harvick wiggles.
He got up on the outside there a little bit, raced off in there a little hard on the outside. He's going to lose a position.
That was the pass. Jeff Green by the 00. Let's go back up front. Greg Biffle has a healthy lead. Elton Sawyer there, that blue, orange, and yellow number 98. He rides in the 4th position.
He's another one of those cars, though. He's got about 60-something laps on his tires, pitted back on lap 39.
Harvick running a little bit higher line than Elton Sawyer.
It might be just coincidence, but we got three of the big Ford brands leading the race right now. Those cars look awfully good. They look like they turn off the corner a little bit better than Harvick Chevrolet does.
113 laps to go here at the Nashville Superspeedway. We're halfway. Jeff Green started 2nd. Has made his way back to the 6th position after nearly hitting the wall on lap 78. Greg Biffle continues to lead. Chad Little in the 74, the 20, Mike Magic Shoes McLaughlin, my favorite nickname in the Busch Series.
This is a battle for 12th.
There's Bobby Hamilton looming there, right along behind these guys. He's quietly having a good race.
Hey, Bobby Hamilton, I noticed, had a road named after him, as did Darrell Waltrip at this race.
Oh, yes. Good. Bill France Boulevard out here, DW Drive. And Bobby Hamilton, Dale Earnhardt had a speedway named the road inside the track here for him. Nice little ceremony we had the other day.
McLaughlin in that 20 cars had a tough year so far. Came in here 6th in points, but just hasn't had the finishes that he'd like. His best finish this year, a 5th at Darlington.
This is just a one-race deal as far as we know with Bobby Hamilton in the 1 car. Jimmy Spencer will be back in this car starting at Talladega next week. He pulls underneath Chad Little here off turn 2. It's a battle for 13th.
And James Finch and those guys are just looking for some chemistry. Had P.J. Jones in the car to start the year with, and then with Jimmy Spencer, of course, Bobby runs. It's his home track, I guess you could say, and he wanted to be in this race, so that's a good deal for both of them.
63, Shane Hall. 61 of Tim Sauter, the brother of Jay Sauter. And there's Bobby Hamilton Jr. on the outside of Sauter.
Well, we know that the 26 car is fast, Bobby Jr. I think they work on the car on some of these cautions. Might find him back up near the front for the day's over with.
He has enough time to get there. He just needs to use that big P word, patience.
Yeah, he's not a real patient person, but he's working on it.
Jeff Green, he wants to get underneath Scott Wimmer, the 23, for the 5th position.
Green should be a little faster. He's got a little fresher tires. I think he'd ought to be able to take that position away, but Wimmer's car looks like it's really fast.
Now, Wimmer did take 2 right side tires on that caution on when he took 4. Remember, back on lap 39, he had taken 4 tires on, elected only to change 2.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. using that patience and that fast race car to take positions, Larry.
Well, that's what you've got to do. You know you got a fast race car. You just need to pick and choose where you pass it.
Tim Sauter started way in the back in that red 61. He started 35th. Former ASA champion, a short track champion, doing a good job. Darrell, interesting story, Tim Sauter. Now there's a guy that works hard. When he raced ASA, he actually drove the team truck to a race in Montgomery, Alabama. The team shop was in Canada.
Wow.
That's a driver that works hard.
That's a lot of traveling right there, but that's one thing I love about the ASA series, and even the Busch series to some degree. These drivers have to work on their cars. They have to be a part of the crew. ASA, the driver gets out, he does engine work, he changes gears, he'll change shock springs, whatever. And that's how you make a really good, thorough race car driver, when you know how to work on the things.
Craig Biffle continues to lead on lap 20 here. Jason Keller runs 2nd. They're making fuel mileage notes. What will they do coming up? We'll find out here on FX. Greg Biffle continues to lead here at the Nashville Superspeedway. 100 laps to go. Jason Keller runs 2nd in the 57 car. Elton Sawyer 3rd in the number 98. Kevin Harvick running 4th. Scott Wimmer's 5th.
Steve and Darrell, when you're crew chief, you can't never quit thinking. And I know we had 8 cautions in the first 101 laps, but I'm sitting up here and I'm starting to do my figure now because I got to think about this race, 225 laps. These guys somewhat look like they've settled down just a little bit. They was all in on lap 72. They need to be able to run to about lap 150 to make it on 1 stop. But since they pitted and we're here on lap 126, Jeff Hammond, they've had 23 laps of caution. And remember, when we figure out fuel mileage, a caution lap is equal to 2 laps. Jeff, do you think guys are thinking they can make it on 1 more stop?
Absolutely, Larry. I went over and talked to all people, Bob Barker, the 23-car crew chief. And he told me, no, not a problem. After lap 145, they can go the distance in about lap 160.
laps to go. Right now, 98 to go. But what they've done, Randy Gosta, crew chief for Biffle, told Greg to switch to the B box. It has a different rev chip in it. About 300 more RPMs. Run a few laps, get used to it, because if we get into a shootout near the end, we may need a little more oomph to get us to victory lane.
Our thanks back, Kevin Harvick. Hooked up to the back bumper of that 98 of Elton Sawyer. Now, Larry, a minute ago, you said under caution it's 2-1. What does that mean exactly?
Well, what that means, for every 2 caution laps, you can figure that like 1 green lap. And the reason we're figuring that is the amount of fuel that the car is using. But I want to talk about what Matt Yoakum talked about on the Greg Biffle, a rev chip. These cars have 2 ignition systems, 2 ignition boxes. To each ignition box is a rev limiter box. And we put a certain chip in it to where if the car starts turning too many RPMs, this chip will start killing cylinders and tell the driver, hey, you need to back off. And normally we will run about maybe an 8800 to 8900 chip. What they've talked about is in their backup ignition, by design, they have put a higher rev limiter chip. That way, if it gets down to in this race and they need to turn more RPMs to perform better, they'll do it. They'll just swap to the other box, which goes to the other rev limiter chip.
As a matter of fact, some of those boxes can even vary the timing, you know, a couple of degrees, which will enhance performance. So you save all that for the end of the day.
Daryl, I've heard drivers talk about changing ignition boxes as we see Bobby Hamilton Sr. and Jr. How do you do it? Is it a matter of just flipping a switch?
Yeah, they got 2 wiring harnesses in the car, and it's all wired together where there's a little switch on the dash. You've got your A system and your B system, and you check both those for the race car to be sure they're both working, but you'll always run on the A system, but you can flick it over if you want to. And there goes the 2 car by Elton Sawyer right there for the pass.
3rd position. Now, father and son here. Now, Bobby Hamilton Jr. said on the racetrack, he's just another race car. Can that really be, Daryl?
Oh, no.
I didn't think so.
No, even, you know, just Michael and my brother. I always was aware of where he was and what he was doing. I think a father and son would be even more critical, knowing where that young man is and what he's doing. You heard Bobby talk about in the opening that he needs to settle down, get some laps, run this race, and not have any trouble. And right now, he's heeding his advice pretty well. He being his son, Bobby Jr.
Yeah, I didn't buy that. He said he's just another race car. I got to get by. No.
And you got to go back to the Daytona 500. Dale Earnhardt sat back there in 3rd with a few laps to go. That was not just a competitor out his windshield. That was his son.
Yeah. But now, you know, the father would expect the son to have the proper respect, you know. That would be part of it.
If these guys get together, Easter dinner would be pretty unique to watch.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be an empty plate, probably.
Bobby Hamilton running in the 14th position. Bobby Hamilton Jr. 15th. Meanwhile, Greg Biffle continues to be the point man, the leader of this race. You're watching Busch Series racing on FX from the Nashville Superspeedway. Biffle continues to lead the Pepsi 300 here in Nashville. Jason Keller 2nd, but Bobby Hamilton on pit road ran out of gas.
Yeah, and you can't, he came into pits too fast, but you got your engine isn't running. The only speedometer you have in these things is your tach. You get a tach reading on the start of the race to know what 35, 45 miles an hour is. That's why that guy's standing right out there in front of him.
Once the stop's completed, he's going to hold it for 15 seconds. That's the penalty for coming in too fast, speeding on pit road.
He was out of fuel and the engine wasn't running, and so he didn't have a speedometer.
This is when all the competitors get a little bit nervous because he, like a lot of the other competitors, was on pit road at lap 72. He ran out of gas at 143. That's only 71 laps. And that 15 seconds, when you're sitting there, it seems like it lasts for about 15 minutes.
Bobby Hamilton was running in the 13th position, Daryl.
I've never been envious of the guy that has to hold you while you sit there and the driver's steaming. Here comes the joy into pits. So I think some of the lead cars are going to start peeling off. Now is when you start holding your breath if you're a crew chief, even if you're a driver, because you don't want to come in and have a caution come out right now.
Let's go to Jeff Hammond.
One thing down here in the 10-car pit of Jeff Green, The demons continue to come back and forth on this car. Early in the race, they were complaining about the car missing at the very start. Then it was the transmission. Then he thought he had a broke valve spring. Now he's complaining that he feels like the carburetor's messing up again and his car won't run down the straightaway, even though he's running 6th. They're getting ready to make a pit stop here in about 7 laps, and Harold Hawley told him, just hang in there, guy. It's a long way still before it's over.
Yeah, that car was only happy when it was out front. It's not happy when it's running back into back. So I think it just needs to get out front and it probably stop all those problems.
Randy LaJoy in the 7, Tony Raines in the 33, just making pit stops on lap 148. Greg Biffle, you know, the Busch Series had the weekend off last weekend. What did he do? He went fishing in Vancouver, Washington. Said he went fishing every day.
I never, you know, you'd think a guy like him. This track, by the way, is ideal for Greg Biffle. When they tell you got to be careful, that opens a great door of opportunity for him.
Because he's not.
Because he is not a careful driver. He's very aggressive. I can't imagine him sitting on the side of a lake somewhere or even in a boat fishing. I bet he didn't do it with a line.
But what was the team doing, Larry? They were working.
I'm sure they was in the wind tunnel. They was building new cars. They was fixing wrecks. These guys have an off weekend. I used to call it, it's just a week without racing. I'm not even going to put the word off in it.
I'll tell you one thing, he is flat trucking around here right now and putting distance between he and second place.
He's got almost a 4.5-second lead. He can kind of let those guys dictate when to come to pit road, but with a 4.5-second lead, you don't want to sit out there like Bobby Hamilton and run out of fuel.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to pit in about 3 laps.
Greg Biffle finished 2nd at Vegas, 2nd at Atlanta. Came in here 3rd in points, 126 points behind Kevin Harmon. Won the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship last year. Won 14 races in the Truck Series. Still hasn't won a Busch Series race.
He's done everything but win. He's been right up there as a rookie. They've had a phenomenal year. I know he stepped into a great situation. Mark Martin's Busch Car National team of the past years, but he has done a well of a job in that race car.
He really has. In this series, they need drivers like him. They need exciting drivers like him. He's fun to watch. He's aggressive and he's a nice young man. Yeah, he's good for the series.
Jason Keller, meanwhile, is 2nd behind Biffle. You just saw the interval, 4.132 seconds. Now, Keller is a patient race car driver. You know, Biffle is aggressive. Keller is patient.
He tends to be. Yeah, here comes some of the lead cars in. Here comes the 98 and the 10.
Elton Sawyer, Jeff Green, they're on pit road here on lap 152. Sure, it'll be 4 tires, maybe some adjustments. They'll be treating this like their last pit stop, Jeff Hammond.
That's right, Larry. Jeff Green brings a 10 car in at 45 miles an hour. The crew's ready. This should be their last stop. They're going to make this a little bit of adjustment with the tire pressure. Also taking a round of bite back out of the car, out of the left rear, They took one more round of bite out of the car. Still just a little bit tight on exit. One thing else I'm noticing here on the 10 car, a lot of brake dust. They must be using a lot of the brakes to get down in this corner here late in the stages. 10 car's down and away.
Larry, as you said, 10 car just finishes. Jason Keller in, all the leaders pitting.
Kevin Harvick, he's in pit road. Mike Skinner in the 21 car, all of them on pit road for 4 tires here with a little over 70 laps to go.
I just saw Kenny Wallace. I don't know, something happened to his car. Matter of fact, he's taking it straight to the garage.
And Greg Biffle, our leader, he has come to pit road on lap 153.
Kenny Wallace just blew up coming down the back straight into the garage.
Let's go to Matt.
The 60 car of Greg Biffle on pit road. They were talking about what changes to make. Air pressure, maybe wedge. What they're going to do, they're going to put a quarter spring rubber in the right rear. That's the last change they were talking about. Keep an eye to see if they do indeed put that rubber in to try to free that car up just a touch. They said the car was just a tick tight, so they wanted just to make a little bit of a change as they come around the left side of the car, already up to 13, 14. Down and away, 19.2 seconds.
Normally, Darrell, one of the last things you want to do on a green flag stop is put a spring rubber in the spring.
Yeah, and they did that in Atlanta. They took the time to do that, and the car got real loose, and I wouldn't mess with that car right now.
Todd Bodine in the 00 in. Scott Wimmer also hit pit road, and Jimmy Johnson in the 92. Let's go to Jeff Hammond.
23 car, the leader right now with Scott Wimmer's in. They're making a bite adjustment. For 1 round down to the right rear, took some wedge out of the car. 1 round down, that right rear jack screw. The back right to the left side of the car. And we're also going to make one little bit of air pressure adjustment also, talking about going down a ½ a pound on the left side of the car. Clean the grill, he's down the way, Scott Wimmer.
34 car David Green stalls on pit road.
Yeah, he ran out of fuel coming into pits, and he got it refired. But watch this thing, man. He shoots that ether down in there. And
he was shooting ether down in, this is the cowl hole right there. That goes down to the carburetor, and the ether caught on fire.
Watch this. This is a big surprise. You see him there shooting it into pits. He gets it fired back up. He takes off. All of a sudden, she stops, and he realizes it. Here he comes. Give her another shot, and whoa, that was a big surprise.
They use ether to crank it just like you would a diesel truck. It just helps get the thing fired and start drawing fuel up there to the carburetor.
Well, he's still sitting on pit road. They cannot refire the 34 of David Green. Working lap 157. Mike McLaughlin's going to hit pit road.
He was our leader. He had taken the lead through all these green flag cycle of pit stops.
Boy, look at David Green. That's a sick feeling.
And you're just pushing your guts out, those guys are, but the thing just won't crank, and you can just only go so far. You get down the end of pit road, you got to come back. You got to come back and start all over again. You can't push it out of the pits.
Just to make sure we understand why they was shooting ether, they had ran out of fuel. Now he's backfired and he's going back on the racetrack though.
Mike McLaughlin on pit road. They've already worked on the right side. Left side tires going on. Windshield tearaway. Larry said McLaughlin was the leader. Most of the lead cars have pitted. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the closing laps of the Pepsi 300. Welcome back to the Nashville Superspeedway. We're under caution for the 9th time. Caution flag was waved on lap 160. Now let's show you an incident that happened just moments ago. Did not bring the caution flag out, but heavy contact nonetheless, boys.
This is in turn 2. Jeff Green in the 10 on the high side. Mike Skinner to 21. He's going to go low and gets into his teammate, 2-car Kevin Harvick. Elton Sawyer, he took advantage of it as well.
From on board Kevin Harvick's car.
And here they go down in the corner, and Harvick's got the position. It's really, you see, he gets a little loose right there in the middle. We've seen that time and time again. There goes Skinner by.
Elton Sawyer goes with him.
By.
Now here's why we are under caution here on lap 160.
Again, we're going down in this first turn, and we've just seen so much trouble down here in the first and second turn.
Kevin Grubb in the 37 got in the back of Dan Partisan in the 32. Andy Santerre didn't check up. He got in the back of Kevin Grubb. All three of them end up in a big wreck. And Kevin Grubb, by virtue of the green flag stops, he was running in the 3rd position.
Oh, tough break for Kevin in the 37 car. Dan Partis is out of that yellow number 32. They're going to put that thing on the wrecker and take it back to the garage. We'll take this opportunity to get some business done. We're working lap 162 of 225 here from the Nashville Superspeedway. We'll be right back.
Green flag and we're racing.
Sliding around, door handle to door handle.
We got a long way to go yet, man. Good race going on for the lead up here. Slides, hits the wall. Don't try this at home. Open it up, boys. I'm coming. And they touch.
And this is where the fun starts.
We got trouble. Here we go again.
It's going to be real close at the line.
Big crowd on hand, having a great time. We are under caution for the 9th time today. Caution flag flew on lap 160 for an incident involving Dan Partis, Andy Santerre, and Kevin Grubb. We have 18 cars on the lead lap. Hank Parker Jr. is the last car, 18th on the lead lap.
I hate that for Andy Santerre. He's had a great run at Bristol there, led 70-some laps, and came in here with still looking for a sponsor. Great driver, great team. Somebody needs to step up and help that guy out.
Let's go down to Jeff Harmon. He's got news on Jason Keller in the 57.
One of the guys that's really getting the benefit of this caution flag right now is Jason Keller. Believe it or not, when he came in the pit last time, he actually ran out of gas coming on pit road, and they were very concerned if the racetrack stayed green to the end of the race, they might not have been able to make it. But now, because of this caution stretch right here, they do not feel like they've got a problem as far as making it. And Steve Addington actually told me, he said, man, I love this concrete racetrack. And earlier this week, when I was talking to Jason Keller, he was one of the very few drivers that I found that liked the racetrack early on, even though they were having problems. He said, this is a challenging racetrack. I really like it, and I wish we could run more racetracks like it.
Let's go to Matt Yoakum. Matt?
Well, Steve, the problems continue for Bobby Hamilton Jr. Now, all he has left in that transmission is 4th gear. Remember, we told you earlier he had lost second. What happens many times, as Larry and Darrell can tell you, when those parts still start bouncing around, it ends up breaking more gears. Now only 4th gear left. His spotter has told a number of other spotters to watch out on the restart.
Greg Biffle continues to lead, followed by Jason Keller and Mike Skinner. We'll be right back. There's a fan. Greg Biffle continues to lead, trying to nail down his first ever NASCAR Busch Series victory. Steve Burns alongside Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, Jeff Harmon, and Matt Yoakum down on pit road. Laps are winding down.
Not far from having a race here.
It's going to be showtime here before too long, boys.
Darrell, if you're in the cockpit of that number 60 car and you're trying to win that first race, are you even thinking about that, or are you just taking care of business?
What you're worried about is, golly, I'm driving as hard as I can go. I hope nobody catches me. He's been doing a great job, so we'll see what happens.
Rich Biffle in that 59 car having a great run. He is in 11th position. And you know, another guy we haven't talked much about, there's Biffle in that 59. Frank Kimmel, two-time ARCA Series champion, is running right behind Biffle in the 12th position. Frank Kimmel in that number 8 car ran yesterday. Larry Foyt in the 14 car in 13th position. He's a rookie. In the 28 car, Brad Baker, another local boy, Darrell.
This is by far and away the best performance for that team and that car, and rightfully so. The sponsor on the car is a local company out at the airport there, Air, and he's doing a great job.
And didn't his dad used to own Bristol Speedway?
Well, he owned Bristol and Nashville.
And Nashville.
We're in there with Warner Hodgson.
They were the beneficiaries of that pit stop.
You know, probably the question's been asked is why did they concrete this racetrack? What a lot of people don't know is this racetrack was built and is owned by the people from Dover Downs, who has the concreted racetrack up there in Dover, Delaware. Dennis McClin, Melvin Joseph, a lot of success with that racetrack. And I firmly believe, even though there's been some criticism about this racetrack, once it gets some time on it, once it gets some racing on it, that it's going to be as good a racetrack as Dover, Delaware and Bristol, Tennessee has become with the concrete.
Larry, what was that fun fact you dug up? How many pounds of concrete or cubic yards was it? 500 and something thousand?
Well, the track itself has 7,500 cubic yards of concrete. The whole facility has 525,000 cubic yards of concrete. That's a lot of concrete trucks, Darrell.
That's the whole 9 yards, as they say in the concrete business.
All right, speaking of 9 yards, we going racing here.
Double file restart on lap 168. 225. Somebody, Bobby Hamilton Jr.
Bobby Hamilton, he only has high gear. It's going to take him about a lap to get up to speed. He's having to restart in 4th gear, and everybody else will restart probably in 2nd gear.
Yeah, he just got to get it up, just got to build up speed, get a little momentum going. It's going to really hurt him on the starts here. He hopes there are no more starts. We got a real battle up front here for these guys trying to get back on the lead lap.
Jamie McMurray, that 27. Hank Barker Jr., 36.
Harvick went way up out of the group.
Look at Biffle fighting us lead traffic. Mike Skinner in the 21 car. Jason Keller in the 57 car with all these lap cars.
Jason Keller doing a great job to hang on to that 57. Skinner put the wood to him.
Man, there's just no room right through this trial right here. It's real tight. Everybody ran out of room.
And Keller wants underneath the Biffle in that 60.
These guys are racing like there's 10 laps to go, guys.
Oh, no.
3 down the back there. Parker on the outside. Biffle in the middle.
And here comes Elton Sawyer in the 98.
Oh, he got into the side of Biffle.
Boys, you can't do this. there's too many laps to go. Somebody tell them they can't.
Put a Biffle on him in, didn't he?
I'm not telling him. It's fun to watch.
This is when you don't want to go side by side, but you got to. Oh, there's the 66 around.
He got hard into the wall.
The 66 got into the side of that 63 car.
Shane Hall in the
got a bunch of cars down at the bottom of the racetrack.
And Darrell, Larry Foyt, that 14, Mark Day, the 16.
Some guys trying to get laps back.
Chad Little, the 74.
Mike McLaughlin.
Larry Foyt, that Harris 14 car, we just had been talking about him, stayed on the lead lap and gets caught up in this accident.
Yeah.
A lot of damage to that left rear.
63, got the 16 day down here at the bottom.
Shane Hall sitting there at the top of the racetrack.
And I think when we look at this, we're gonna see that again, Fedewa was involved in this.
Well, we know one thing. He was getting wild at the front.
Oh, yeah.
And he was wild at the back.
He was getting wild everywhere. This side-by-side racing on those restarts, you don't want to do it, but you have to.
Take a look at the replay.
There you already see Shane Hall in the 63 turned around, nowhere for Tim Fedewa in the 66 to go. We see Bobby Hamilton all the way on the bottom of the racetrack.
Apron. Here comes the 14 car down here at the bottom, and the 16 car got into him, so I'm sure that was a chain reaction. People slowing down.
From the MBNA in-car camera.
Boy, oh boy, where'd I go, where'd I go?
Go down here where there's no cars yet.
Exactly.
But also no racetrack going through the grass.
That was the safest place though at that point.
Larry Foyt's going to bring that number 14 Chevrolet to pit road. Another rookie who raced in the ASA series last year. See the 14, 16, 63, and the 66. And Larry's going to the garage.
66 got in under 63 going into turn down there and got in the side of him. That's what started all that.
Working our 10th caution of the day. It came out on lap 172. This race is 225 laps. We'll be back right after this. Under caution once again here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Caution came out for the 10th time on lap 172. Let's go back to some action moments ago. Great battle for the lead. 60 car, Greg Biffle, he had the lead, but the 57 wants it.
Whoa, man, they get just pushed loose. Front end takes a little bite. Look at that. Mike Keller runs Skinner down on the apron.
On the way on the asphalt, which is the apron.
Yeah, down on the apron. Biffle goes in here. He gets a little loose there. He goes up the track. Comes the 57 car. Keller up under him.
Darrell, it looked like 57. Jason Keller had to wait to see what that 36 was going to do on the high side.
And now watch this. The 98 zip, gets into the side of Biffle, moves him out of the way.
He dipped his left side wheels on that apron, shot him up a little bit into Biffle.
Yeah, he did. Skinner came right behind him at 21.
And Biffle comes right back down on Sawyer down the straightaway. Now, right behind these guys, if you look way up here by the water tower, the 66 car got down on the apron, got his left wheels down on the apron just a little bit. When he did, he came up on the track and got into the side of Shane Hall, and that's what caused this accident. Larry Foyt, Mark Day, a whole bunch of guys got involved in this. As you can see, we were a little bit behind the action. Bobby Hamilton Jr. could have had something to do with that accident. As you know, he couldn't get up to speed. He was still trying to get his momentum up. He's only got high gear. So I'm not sure if he had played any part in that or not.
We've got 49 laps left. You're watching NASCAR Busch Series Racing on FX. We're about 20 miles southeast of Nashville, but right down the road from the track is Murfreesboro. That little statue, the absolute geographic center of the state of Tennessee, and it's where generations of folk convene at the local barbershop. Darrell, he does not like his haircut. Get him a piece of gum or a lollipop.
No, get him a hat. That's what he needs.
Guys, he sounds like a few race car drivers I've worked with in the car. It's real loose.
One little cheese with that wine.
Call him a wambulance. Oh, shucks.
Oh.
You know,
57,
that's
Jason
why
Keller,
they
leader.
call this Middle Tennessee, by the way.
And also the home of Middle Tennessee State
That's
University.
right.
Jason Keller is our leader. Greg Biffle trying to win his first ever NASCAR Busch Series race, and Elton Sawyer, that 98 car, he's been kind of lurking back.
Boy, I tell you, those first 3 or 4 guys there are really aggressive right now. They know the importance of getting in the lead right now. How about it, Jeff? What you got going on, pal?
You guys were talking about Elton Sawyer. One thing you might find interesting, Darrell, is he is Cosworth powered today. We hear about Cosworth in Formula One and kart and everything, but he's got a Cosworth engine in that number 98 car.
Gee, that doesn't seem fair to me. I thought they built IndyCar engines.
They built the motors for his car all year long. They're out of California and showing up here today. We're going to go racing with 46 laps to go. Let's see what happens on this restart.
It's going to be exciting, I can promise you.
Jason Keller, the 57, green flag is in the air.
Bobby Jr. falling back, he just can't get going.
Oh, he's got his 4th gear. Car's a lap down on the inside. Lots of traffic.
And as treacherous as we know it is up on the outside of that first and second turn, those leaders have to go up there because of the lap traffic.
Jason Keller with a head of steam going into turn 3. He led 1 lap at Las Vegas, the only lap he'd led all year coming into this race.
This was actually the car that he ran at Las Vegas, finished 3rd with it. He's had 2 third-place finishes. One of them was with this car at Las Vegas.
Now's when you have to be ever so careful going through here at full racing speed now. Don't want to get shoved up out of the groove.
Greg Biffle in the 60 looks like he's starting to search around a little bit, you know, where his car maybe will work. Will it work up right on the bottom? Will it work a half a lane up? Needs to search around here, pulls right up on the rear bumper of Jason Keller in that 57 car.
He tries to cut under him, but we heard him talk earlier in the day about having a little arrow push off the corner, and it's pretty obvious that he has that when he gets behind somebody.
Larry, I said Jason Keller led in Vegas. He actually led 1 lap at Atlanta.
Whoa, there went that 10 car. Man, he just took a D-dido down in the middle of that corner.
The D-dido.
Yeah, it D'd, and then it died, and then it dove.
But then he gathered it back up.
But he caught it, and he said, diddy up.
Jeff Green was in the 6th position.
These guys know right now, it's showtime, basically. No more pit stops. You got what you got. Do the best you can with it. Hold them off, try to lead it to the finish. Biffle's car really looks tight up off the corner now. It looks like it did earlier in the day. Looks like when he gets behind traffic, when he gets behind cars, his car doesn't want to turn up off the corner.
Take a look at that 98 car, Darrell.
Oh, goodness gracious. He got up against that outside retaining wall coming off turn 4.
That was up off turn 4, and we call that late exit push. You're in the gas, you're turning the wheel, and you just run out of racetrack up there.
But it did seem to affect the handle.
He didn't slow down, though.
No, he didn't. He didn't lift. Jimmy Johnson in that 92, he's in the 8th position. Kevin Harvick in the 2 is 9th, and Randy LaJoy, take a look from Harvick's car. Randy LaJoy is 10th.
Randy's had a pretty good day. He's quietly worked his way up to top 10. Still looks like he can possibly even get by Harvick.
You know, we talk about front downforce. Look at the front of Randy's car here, the front end openings. The little bitty openings right there. What those are brake duct openings. I think a lot of teams didn't realize that their driver and cars is going to use as much brake here as they've been using. They don't allow them to run blowers to the brakes, so they have to open up some of the front end to cool the brakes. A lot of teams was actually putting brake ducts and brake duct hoses on this morning for the first time.
Yeah, since you can't overdrive these corners, you don't want to charge down in there too hard. I think the guys are having to use a lot more brake than they anticipated.
And they don't want to run any more opening, because the more opening, the more you lose your front downforce.
16 cars on the lead lap. 40 laps to go here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Jason Keller's best finish this year. He's been 3rd twice, once in Vegas and then again at Darlington.
And this is probably a racetrack where you can do a little trail braking, Larry, where you can actually use the brakes to plant the nose on a track like this, where it's slick and you can't get the front grip you like. You can tap that brake and set that nose.
It'll make that car turn.
Make it turn better for you.
Jason Keller making his 229th NASCAR Busch Series start. He has 4 wins in his career. Chad Little in the 74, 12th and 13th position. That's Kimmel in the 8 car. And look at the lead change.
Yeah, Biffle got a run on him off the 4 that time. Got that nose down, got it turned, got that air on it, and he came around him.
Jason Keller, he knew he needed to get back in the hole there before Elton Sawyer in the 98 car took advantage of it. Look at the lead that Biffle pulls off these guys off turn 2.
Now, once he gets in front, he just seems to have a car that really runs good out front. It needs all the air it can on the nose of it to really make it work for him.
Let's go down to Matt Yoakum.
We talked earlier about that aero push, Daryl, and you were right. Yes, he does have a push. They swapped to that B ignition box for a little more RPM to try to get by the 57. They knew they needed to get by because of that aero push.
Let's take a look at the lead change. Biffle looks underneath Keller.
Just gets it turned down right there, gets it wide open, and here he comes.
Well, he did what he needed to do to overcome that aero push. He got that left front out in that clean air, cleaned that left front corner, made that car turn up off the corner.
Actually, it's a very comfortable car to drive when it's doing that if you're out front like he is. Because it really gives you a lot of, you got a handful of steering wheel, but you can really accelerate up off the corner hard.
Already in 2 laps, he's pulled these guys to a ½ a second lead.
Greg Biffle took the lead back from Jason Keller on lap 187. Just 36 laps to go.
Well, I tell you, Wimmer is right there too. You know, he's in 4th place, and he's had an awesome day as well.
Best finish of 11th this year, so this is a great run for this group. This car owned by Bill Davis.
I've been watching that crowd right there, the 92 and the 2 and the 7. Randy LaJoy has gotten a little impatient with these guys. He kind of pushed them up out of his way and cleared them and gone on. Harvick's car seems to just not be quite up to speed like it was earlier in the day. He doesn't seem to have the speed that he had earlier in the day. Watch this. LaJoy gets down under the 92 car and, excuse me.
How did they not wreck, Daryl?
Well, they're trained professionals. What can I say? You kind of expect that. You look, your spotter tells you who it is. You kind of figure you're going to get some contact from some people.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Harmon was behind them, holding his breath.
Well, he just figured if they go high, he can go low and clear them both.
Battle for 3rd. Scott Wimmer in the 23. The rookie battles Elton Sawyer, the veteran. Battle for 3rd. Elton Sawyer came in here, boys, 363 career starts.
Probably, is that the most in this series? It's got to be close.
I believe Tommy Houston is the all-time series leader, but of active drivers, certainly the most.
Mike Skinner is not too far behind that crowd right there. Come in the picture right there.
Where Wimmer seems to be so strong is right through the center of the corner.
Yeah, he can really get back in the gas, but it doesn't seem to pay off for him because he's got Sawyer right in his way, nowhere to go.
I said Elton Sawyer had 363 starts. Scott Wimmer has just 10. And the all-time, as we said, Daryl, Tommy Houston, 417.
I believe if Wimmer could ever get by Elton Sawyer, I believe he could drive away from him. Look here, this is going down into turn 3 right here. Look, watch this car right through the middle, right on the bottom, right up against Elton Sawyer. Right here, Elton Sawyer. Oh, it looks like he's going to get a run on him down the front stretch.
If you can get that close to him in the middle of the corner, then you can make the pass.
And he completes the pass.
And you know, Scott Wimmer was a competitive downhill skier. He's from Wausau, Wisconsin, same hometown as Dave Marcus. He's a quiet young guy, but he's aggressive in that race car when he needs to be.
Well, he really looks good out there, and I tell you, Bill Davis thinks a lot of him. It's a great opportunity for him to step out of an ASA car just after a few races into a Busch Series.
And Daryl, Bill Davis watched him race in the ASA Series last year. That's how they found out about him, scouting the talent. Greg Biffle, our leader. Laps are winding down, 225 make the distance. We'll see if Greg Biffle can score his first career NASCAR Busch Series victory right after this. Welcome back to the Nashville Superspeedway. Laps are winding down. 20 laps to go, and Greg Biffle is bearing down on his first NASCAR Busch Series victory. He's followed by Jason Keller in the 57 and rookie Scott Wimmer, the 23. Elton Sawyer rides fourth.
Yeah, people have been saying it's just a matter of time before Biffle pull one of these Busch Series wins off, and I think today is going to be the day the way he's going. I mean, he's pulling away from Jason Keller, Scott Wimmer, the whole crowd.
Let's go down to Jeff Hammond.
Down here with Bob Barker in the 23 car pit, Scott Wimmer. And Bob's been sitting there telling Scott, don't overdrive the car, let it come to you. Don't overdrive the car, let it come to you. He made a few adjustments the last time in, but he also put on sticker tires on this Bill Davis Pontiac. He felt that the track had finally come far enough along that scuff tires weren't necessary, and everything right now is starting to play into their hands.
Scott Wimmer is the nephew of a racer, Larry Deaches, who also raced up in the Midwest with Dick Trickle's guys.
Oh yeah, he was a great ASA short track racer in the Midwest. And you know, now sticker tires would be the way to go. The track's got enough rubber on it now, and they kind of run enough laps where they know what the tires are capable of doing. And if you can get a set of stickers to work right now, that's going to give you a little advantage, I believe.
Sticker tires, what they are, they're new tires. They have not been ran on the racetrack yet. We got a battle for fourth with Elton Sawyer and Mike Skinner in his 21. Right now, I think Mike Skinner's in the same boat as Scott Wimmer. I believe he's faster. Look at him right through the middle of the corner right here. If he can get by Elton Sawyer, I believe he can drive on as Scott Wimmer did.
Yeah, I think Sawyer's, that's his problem. He just can't get back to the throttle quite quick enough. Looks pretty good in, looks pretty good off, but he's just a little slow through the center.
Just 22 laps to go. Greg Biffle still leading. Jason Keller is second. There's our leader, Greg Biffle.
We'll be running up on some traffic here before too long. And man, I tell you, passing cars here have got trouble around. Oh, big trouble down here.
Jimmy Johnson in the 92 in the wall. 74 of Chad Little.
Ooh, that's a hard lick right there.
Yeah, he's knocked the rear end off that number 92 car.
That's too bad.
He was running in the 12th position.
Bobby Hamilton, Jr. there, I think it's just kind of the end to a long day for him. Cutting down tires, gear transmission problems, and now he's in a wreck.
Our 11th caution of the day coming out on lap 204 of 225 laps. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is able to drive it off. Let's look at the replay, Darrell.
Let's see what happens here. We're going down into turn one. Oh, the 92 got down on the apron.
Left side tires on the black.
Actually, he got run down there. Actually, 74 car looked to me like he almost cut him off and didn't give him anywhere to go. I have to look at it again from maybe a different angle, but it looked like the 92 had a real head of steam up, a real run going down into turn one, and 74 car, Chad Little didn't quite give him enough room. Let's see if we can look at it one more time, see what happened here. Coming down the front straightaway here. 92's on the inside. He looks to the inside. He's there. Yeah, I really think 92 had the position. Like Chad maybe cut down just a little bit quicker than Jimmy Johnson was anticipating. Boy, a lot of close calls there, though. And Bobby Hamilton, I think he just saw the accident, maybe panicked and locked up the brakes and got into it.
Well, these guys, they'll be glad to get out of here. Jimmy Johnson, that's 2 cars for them this weekend. There you see they're going underneath the hood of Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 26 car, seeing if they can get that machine back out there.
Yeah, Shauna used up a couple of cars in the motor. He's used up a couple of cars in the motor. It's been a tough weekend for these guys here. Used up a lot of equipment.
Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
They're surveying the damage. They've got the saws all out. They're going to cut away some of the sheet metal, take the hood off. They're trying to pull some of the sheet metal out from the left rear, put on some big pieces of duct tape to try to bandage this number 26 car together. They're also talking on the radio that the control arm is broken on the left front. They're going to work on that. Tough break for this young man from Tennessee.
All right, thanks, Matt. Bobby Hamilton Jr. Darrell said it's been a tough day. Transmission went bad on him and got caught up in that wreck. And Jimmy Johnson, the 92 car, got up into the wall.
Pit road was not very busy with this caution. That's about 20 laps to go. These guys, most of the top runners, they had about 40 or 45 laps on their tires, but this few laps to go, they know it's going to take them a little bit to get this racetrack. And I can't help but think about Greg Biffle. He didn't want to do anything to get his car back in traffic. Frank Kimmel in the 8 car, now he's on pit road, but Greg Biffle knows his car is fast out front. That's where he wants to keep that race car.
Yeah, some of these guys at the back, I mean, that looks like just topping off a little fuel in the 8 car. I don't think anybody's got any tires left. With 3 sets, they probably used everybody used all 3 sets. And like I said, Biffle wants to stay out front. That's where that car performs the best.
Greg Biffle continues to lead. We have just 19 laps left in this event. Huge crowd here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Next Friday, it's Winston Cup qualifying at 7 p.m. Eastern on FX, 4 p.m. Pacific. And on Saturday, NASCAR Winston Cup practice at 12 o'clock local on FX, followed by the Subway 300 Busch Race on Sunday. It's NASCAR this morning on Fox Sports Net at 10 a.m., followed by Winston Cup racing at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox, and Victory Lane on Fox Sports Net at night. Take a look at the Winston Cup point standings. Dale Jarrett won his 3rd race at Martinsville last week. He's having a heck of a year.
3 out of the last 4 races he has won. They are on a roll. And boy, Talladega, Darrell, we don't like a lot of side-by-side racing here, but next week they'll be 4 wide, they'll be 5 wide in packs of 40 at 190 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's one of those sit on the edge of your seat, bite your fingernail times.
Look at that. Hey, speaking of haircuts.
It's a nice haircut. Nice trim. Yeah.
DW, true champion.
There you go.
Let's go to Matt Yoakum. He's got a story about tires.
Well, Steve, Greg Biffle would like some more tires. I spoke with Randy Goss, the crew chief for the 60 team. He says they have 1 more set to use under yellow, but they don't want to give up the track position because they know the 57 car of Keller will stay out. The problem is, though, if they did pit, they have a sticker set. A lot of teams have noticed over the weekend that it takes about 7 to 9 laps for those sticker sets to knock off the new and actually perform better. That's why a lot of teams in qualifying actually qualified on scuff sets, 9 or 10 lap scuffs.
And we don't want to deceive anybody. Most of these cars has pitted for tires 3 times, but the last time they pitted was under green. You don't get charged for that set of tires. The 3 sets go against you only under caution.
Larry, we should say, too, when they limit tires in this series, it's to help keep costs down for the car owners.
Yeah, they do. And you see that donut on the side of Keller's car. I always like to see those on the right side. I never did like to see them on the left side. If I had it on the right side, that meant I was passing somebody. If I had it on the left side, that meant somebody was passing me.
Being the donut-er or the donut-ee.
That's right.
Here, I like that Fanny had your entire record on the back of his T-shirt.
Yeah, that's an extra large shirt. You have to get an extra large to get all that on.
You don't suppose Harmon's got a T-shirt out, do you?
Yeah, he gets a lot of phone calls, though. Hey, we've had 10 leaders, 15 lead changes, 11 cautions for 60 laps, 27 cars are running, and we have 14 cars on the lead lap.
We're getting ready for a little shootout here, gang. Everybody's going to give it their best shot. Now, the problem, again, lap cars down on the inside, it's going to separate these cars up just a little bit. Biff will get a good jump here. He's going to really pull away from Keller.
But 16 laps to go. Now, 25 laps or less, only lead lap cars can go to the outside. If we get to that 10 lap to go, then it would be single file, but we're 16 to go. So Greg Biffle, Jason Keller, they're going to have to deal with lap cars, pace cars off, racing with 16 to go.
We've seen them mix it up a little bit on these restarts. I don't know if they're getting trash on their tires or what. We've seen several cars kind of fishtail into each other on these restarts.
Green flag is in the air. 17 laps to settle it. Greg Biffle, Jason Keller second. Scott Wimmer, the rookie, is third at the wall.
Well, Jason Keller kept his car out real wide getting into turn 1. He wants to get to the bottom underneath Jamie McMurray, clear that lap car, go up there and try to get Greg Biffle when they come back around 15 to go.
Yeah, he doesn't want Biffle to get away from him. If you're going to do any good, you got to do it now. You got to get after him now.
Elton Sawyer in the 98 car, he got all jammed up behind the lap car, Jamie McMurray. It allowed Scott Wimmer to pull right up to the back of him. That's a battle for third.
71 of Kevin LePage not on the lead lap. Scott Wimmer there in the 23. Look back up towards the front.
Randy LaJoy just got by a 00 car going down into turn 1.
Green running in the 7th position.
He was up beside of Jeff Green, and Jeff.
Well, look at Harvick. They get together. 0-0. Todd Bodine just gets it straightened out.
Wiggled that car.
This is a battle for 8.
Todd Bodine knows what it's like to get together with somebody. He started his day that way. He spun around over on the back straightaway over there. Oh, here we go. 7 and 10. Oh, that was almost a crash.
LaJoie and Green side by side once again.
LaJoie took the line away from him off that corner. I bet you Jeff Green fights back and retaliates.
You give Randall LaJoie less than 20 to go in a good race car, he's going to do whatever it takes to get to the front.
He's got a good race car. He's been fighting his way right up through there. I've been watching him. He's made some great passes.
Meanwhile, back at the front, Greg Biffle in the 60. Jason Keller in that blue and white 57.
He's not pulling Jason Keller like he had been earlier. Jason Keller on top of that steering wheel. He knows the laps are winding down. He's got to go up there and get him.
Yeah, now it's now or never. If you got anything for him, you got to use it.
2-car of Kevin Harvick. Right behind that yellow 10 of Jeff Green.
Kevin Harvick got trapped behind the lap car there in the 33 car. That's Tony Raines. He's a lap down.
They're battling for 7th position. 12 laps to go.
Battle's really heating up everywhere for every position right now. All these guys got pretty good cars. They're all handling pretty good. Here's the 8 car. He was in the pit. He's made a little adjustment, and he's coming in there 11th and 12th into the 11th spot.
Passing Rich Bickle in the 59, and here's the leaders. You were right, Larry. Jason Keller starting to draw up on that 60.
He's after him, buddy. I'm telling you, we know that the 60 car, if he overdrives that car, I believe that's what causes him a problem. If he'll settle down and just ease it down in the corner, but that car has a little arrow push off, and it'll aggravate it even when you're in front if you overdrive it.
Last lap. Keller picked off about a 10th off of Greg Biffle.
Hey, I've seen Biffle in the Truck Series pull out some mighty exciting finishes. I've seen him hold people off and drive all over the racetrack.
And he's not afraid to, as you say, let the rough side drag.
Oh, no.
He don't care which side that car he gets a donut on.
No, if that 57 car Keller gets up there and starts racing him pretty good, you talking about finding a place on this track to run that ain't been run on all day, he'll find it.
Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Right now, Greg Biffle just trying to hold on. During that caution, he was talking to his crew chief, Randy Goss, about the fact that his car had progressively gotten tighter and tighter. He wanted to pit like we told you earlier, but they just couldn't afford to. Right now, just trying to hold off the 57 of Keller.
Jeff Green in that 10 car, Kevin Harvick in that blue deuce.
Battle for 7th right here. Be 9 laps to go next time by.
Now, Green's car just couldn't really perform that well here late in the race. I don't know if it doesn't like his set of tires or what it is, but it's the front row right here going after each other. The problem is it's for 7th and 8th.
And the reason he's going to lose the position, he overdrove the entrance to the corner, couldn't keep the car down. Kevin Harvick's going to make the pass here.
And Todd Bodine in the 0-0 goes with him.
You just can't overdrive the straight track, and he gets loose.
That's a classic pass me low, go in too hard, I'll pass you back on the bottom.
Mike McLaughlin goes past him as well.
We've seen that so many times today. You drive off in the corner, get it a little bit out of the groove, and the car just comes around on it.
Did a good job of hanging on to it, actually.
Greg Biffle trying to nail down his first NASCAR Busch Series victory.
He's got his hands full. He cannot slip up. And it's real easy to do here, boy. You come off one of these corners, get up in the loose stuff, or you drive in too hard.
And what I'm impressed, the move that Randy Goss made on this race car under green, they knew this track was getting tighter. I questioned putting a rubber in the right rear spring under a green flag stop, but they increased that right rear spring rate, helps that car turn. Even with that, he's still a little bit too tight, so that could have been a key move to hopefully winning this race with 6 to go.
And Jason Keller is running out of laps. Greg Biffle going down the backstretch. Rookie Scott Wimmer, the 23, is third. But laps are running out. Rewind.
There you go, the 7 car.
Battle for 5th. Randy LaJoie in the 7. Mike Skinner to 21. Randy LaJoie, he's been coming. He's just going to run out of laps here, though, before he gets any further.
LaJoie's passed a lot of cars in his last 20 laps.
5 laps to go. Back up front there, you see the interval between first and second. Greg Biffle in the lead. Jason Keller, he's starting to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, yes. You know, on a track like this, when it's, you know, you got to stay in the groove. You got to hit your marks. Boy, I tell you, coming down, these laps are running out. You don't want to make a mistake. You're going to win your first Busch race of the year, first Busch race ever. Got to be careful.
He's got one lap car up there that's going to get out of his way, but for the most part, he's got a clear racetrack. He clears that car, so it's clear racetrack the rest of the way.
Yeah, that slow car really helped Biffle the most.
00 Todd Bodine. He's trying to get by the 20 of Mike McLaughlin.
Bobby Hamilton in the one car, remember, he ran out of fuel earlier. He's actually 2 laps down.
McLaughlin and Bodine battling for 8th. 98, that's Elton Sawyer, the 7 of Randy LaJoy, and boy, he is coming.
Oh, he is coming.
He's not done yet. He's still going.
He'll get LaJoy will get him off a 2 over here. He's going to get Elton up off a 2 over here. So that car is really accelerating up off the corner.
And that's where Elton Sawyer has been the weakest from the center off.
Yeah. Got to run on him, got to run on him, got to run on him. Here I come. Give me some room. I'm in there.
Oh, and they just barely cleared that car.
Donahue with a 25.
I seen that one coming.
Man.
Back up front, Greg Biffle. Just 2 laps to go, DW.
In basketball, that would have been an illegal pick.
Exactly. It is in racing, too, I think.
Yeah, Biffle's really starting to stretch it now. Things are looking pretty good for him. No traffic, clear track ahead. Keep it on the bottom.
Just his 10th career start for Greg Biffle. His very first Busch start was in Rockingham in the fall of 1996.
Got the white flag on his final lap. Mile and a third to go.
Float that thing down in the corner, hit your marks, get back to that throttle. Don't overdrive your corner. One more set of corners to go.
Just don't make a mistake. You got this one in the bag, buddy. Just don't make a mistake.
Jason Keller is out of time. Greg Biffle hauls it down off 3. He's headed into 4.
Here he comes back to the line for the last time to win the inaugural race here at the new Nashville Superspeedway.
And Greg Biffle wins his first NASCAR Busch Series race, the Pepsi 300 at the Nashville Superspeedway.
Jason Keller finishes 2nd, Scott Wimmer 3rd, Randy LaJoy drives up to 4th position, and Elton Sawyer ends up 5th.
So Greg Biffle spent last weekend fishing. This week, he's in victory lane. Look at that crew.
It's a happy bunch. Everybody in the garage area this morning, when I walked through there, I mentioned it earlier, they pointed at that 60 car. Obviously, most of them knew what they was talking about.
Yes, sir. And here he comes, and he does a pretty nice burnout now. I've seen him do it in the trucks. I'd say that you're going to see a lot of smoke fly out of this thing. Let me get her checked up here, boys. Let me show you folks what it feels like to win your first race.
He's going to turn this part of the white concrete black with circles anyhow.
He's going to leave his mark on the track.
Won the NASCAR Christmas Series Truck Series Championship last year. It's John Forrest there.
Oh, yeah. He's launching that thing out of there. Great job, Greg Biffle.
Let's go to Jeff Hammond.
Randy Goss, great call, baby. Great call. Congratulations.
Well, I've been nervous. All we really had to do was just do what everybody else did because Biffle had the car today and he was driving the track. This is his shape of track that he likes to drive. So I just want to say thanks to Granger for sticking with us. And I want to especially thank guys in the fab shop, our painters, all our guys. We wrecked some stuff this year. Not one guy has said one thing bad about it. And I want to thank Dave Dunlop and all the guys in the chassis shop, just everybody involved.
Don't forget the cat in the hat.
The cat in the hat, yeah. He was supposed to come help us today. I told him he's going to have to work, so he didn't show.
And he's referring to Jack Rouse, the owner of this car. Congratulations.
Greg Biffle heads to victory lane. Take a look at your top 5. Wimmer, the rookie, finishes 3rd. 2 veterans right behind him.
Boy, good run for Mike McLaughlin, finishing 9th. At one point was 1 lap down, made that lap up. Todd Bodine comes home 10th in a 00.
Here's a guy who gets my vote right here. The next guy, 11th. Frank Kimmel had a great run here today. His first Busch start.
2-time ARCA Series champion, but Darrell said the first race he's ever competed in the NASCAR Busch Series. 225 laps are in the books. The very first race at the Nashville Superspeedway, and Greg Biffle is the man in victory lane for the first time. All right, let's go down to Matt Yoakum.
It took him 33 starts in the Truck Series to win his first race, but only 10 in the Busch Series. You couldn't have done it more dramatic fashion. How concerned were you about the 57, Greg?
Well, I was pretty concerned because for some reason the Granger Ford went real tight there at the end, and I tell you, these guys did a great job, and hope I didn't let Mark Martin down. It took this many races to get the 60 back in victory lane, but man, it was a great job, and I need to thank Granger and everybody. The team has really dug deep this year, and I'd like to say hi to everybody back home, Biffle's Pub and Grill, and everybody home watching, Mom, Dad. It's been a good day for us.
Did you think it was going to take you this long? I mean, only 10 races in after the season start that you had?
I didn't think we'd win this early, but I knew these were some of the racetracks we'd be good at, Vegas and these places. But, you know, we may have had a couple more wins if the driver wouldn't have made mistakes along the way. Atlanta, I ran it in the wall, and a few other places we had a really good car, but I'm happy today.
Well, congratulations. Greg Biffle, first-time winner in 2001.
All right, 10th career start, Greg Biffle picks up a victory, the 2000 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. Hey, don't forget, next weekend, we're all going to the Talladega Superspeedway. We'll have qualifying next Friday at 7 p.m. You can see practice on Saturday. Practice on Saturday, followed by the Busch Series race. There you see it on FX. Wichita Cup practice at 12 noon, 9 a.m. Pacific, and on Fox, the Subway 300. And next Sunday, don't forget, NASCAR this morning at 10 a.m. on Fox Sports Net, followed by our big Wichita Cup race on Fox, NASCAR Victory Lane at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Let's go to Jeff Hammond.
Second place, Jason Keller. You told me earlier this week you like this kind of racetrack.
Well, I love concrete racetracks, and like I say hi to Deb and the kids back home that didn't get to make it. But just a great day for Albertsons and Ford and everybody involved. And I'm going to lobby for every promoter in the country to have concrete racetracks, and I think I'd do good. But we had good pit stops, and just couldn't catch them there at the end. But, hey, we gave it our best shot.
Best shot was good enough for second place today.
All right, you see Greg Biffle continuing to celebrate in victory lane.
Well, if they voted on the concrete track thing, I'm not sure that he'd come out on top. There's a lot of guys that's going to leave here saying, I don't know about that joint.
Scott Wimmer with a podium finish. He's third. Randy LaJoie is fourth. Elton Sawyer is fifth. Hey, and let's check out Scott Wimmer.
Wimmer, it's a pretty impressive run here today for this Bill Davis Pontiac.
Yeah, we're just happy for the Danikin Pontiac. Guys in the pits did a great job. We had awesome stops today, and Brad Thrower did an awesome job with the motors. We're just a little bit off. We're a little tight, and that kind of hurt us all day long, but not a bad day, starting fifth and finishing third.
What is your opinion of this concrete track?
She's a tough place. Keeps you up on the wheel, especially down 1 and 2, but you know, once it got a little more rubber, it was a little easier getting through there, but you know, I'm sure people at Nashville will get it fixed for the next time we come back, and we're just glad to be here.
Great run today for Scott Wimmer, coming home third.
All right, thanks very much, Jeff. Appreciate it. Oh, he's going to get that customary guitar there, Darryl.
Oh, yes, sir. I love that guitar. I got a couple, 3 of those. I wish I could play the deck gun thing. But anyway, today's been one of them slam, bam, thank you, ma'am affairs. And a lot of guys that are going to go home today scratching their head.
What I was impressed with, we had 11 cautions, but 8 of them come in the first 100 laps. It's like these guys figured this place out, figured out they wasn't getting a lot done under caution. Only 3 cautions in the last 125 laps.
Well, we thought we could bring you the full field rundown. We have a little problem in graphics, but they will all be fixed next weekend when we go to Talladega. Greg Biffle, your winner today here for the Pepsi 300. 43 cars for the very first time take to this 1.33-mile super speedway in Nashville, Tennessee. For Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, Matt Yoakum, Jeff Hammond, I'm Steve Burns, thanking you for being with us and the entire Fox Sports Racing crew. Greg Biffle wins the Pepsi 300 at the Nashville Superspeedway. Happy Easter, everybody.